Hokage's office, do you know why you're here, Naruto? The third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, asked the 8-year-old seated before him. The boy had messy blonde hair and sharp sky-blue eyes that carried a dangerous glint. He wore a crimson shirt bearing a black spiral symbol on the back, matched with black cargo pants tucked into combat boots. Boots he often used to deal with those foolish enough to provoke him. Of course I do, Naruto replied, arms crossed as he lounged in the chair like he ruled the village. One leg was draped over the other, his cheek rested against a cocky hand, and a smirk curled on his lips. He looked less like a child, and more like a young ruler addressing a worn-out advisor. Hiruzen sighed. 8 years had passed since the Ninetales attack, which ended with the beast's essence sealed within Naruto. Life had been far from kind to the boy. Ever since someone leaked the truth of his burden, he was loathed by the villagers. Merchants overcharged him or sold him spoiled goods, and more than once, townspeople attempted to beat him. That changed when Naruto began defending himself, violently. Several attackers ended up in the hospital with broken bones, stab wounds, or worse. Training on his own, Naruto had awakened his chakra early and used it ruthlessly. His tendency to respond with deadly force had people calling for his imprisonment, or worse. They labeled him a demon in the shape of a boy, but the label never bothered Naruto. If anything, he wore it like a badge of pride, which deeply troubled Hiruzen. Attempts to act like a surrogate grandfather were always met with cold dismissal or outright profanity. "Why do you keep pushing me away?" Hiruzen asked, rubbing his temples, frustration creeping into his tone. "I've tried to be there for you," Naruto laughed. "Tried?" he echoed mockingly. "Offering to pay for a few meals doesn't make you family, don't kid yourself. I've done more than you know. You've done nothing," Naruto cut him off, voice flat. "You're the Hokage, yet you stuck me in a rundown apartment where the neighbors spit at my door. You let me starve. You watched while I was thrown out of school and did nothing when they cursed me like I was filth." Naruto's voice grew sharper. He had better things to do than waste time here, like checking in on someone who actually mattered to him. Hiruzen sighed and pulled out a form from his desk. "Fine, let's just move on to why you were called here. This report says you assaulted a group of academy students, put them in the hospital. One had a concussion, another was struck repeatedly with a pipe, and the last one was left dangling from the school's entrance by his underwear." Naruto smirked, clearly pleased. "Damn right I did, but that report's missing a few details." "Then enlighten me," Hiruzen said, though he had a fair idea what the reason was. "They were picking on Sakura-chan," Naruto said darkly. "They know better. I've made it very clear, no one messes with her. She's under my protection." Hiruzen inhaled slowly from his pipe, memories of the first time Naruto met Sakura surfacing. Flashback. "Wow, what a massive forehead," a boy teased, poking a pink-haired girl's head. "Yeah, I could rent space on that thing. I bet her mom's head is even bigger." Another shoved the girl to the ground, drawing tears from her emerald eyes. "And that pink hair, what a freak." Stop please," she whimpered. "What the hell are you doing?" a sharp voice interrupted. The boys turned to see Naruto standing there. "What do you want, freak?" one of them snarled. "My mom told me to stay away from you, she says you're a demon." Naruto grinned. "Oh, that's so. You don't scare me," the kid shouted, throwing a punch. Naruto caught it with ease, that grin turned feral. The other kids shuddered, some wetting themselves as an overwhelming sense of danger washed over them. "You just made a mistake," Naruto said, tightening his grip. "You hit first. That means I'm allowed to respond." He decked the kid with a single punch, then repeatedly stomped his stomach until the child curled up and wept. The others tried to retaliate, but Naruto was relentless. In minutes, all three were on the ground, bleeding and broken. Naruto casually rifled through their pockets. Well, rich brats," he muttered, pocketing their money. When one tried to protest, he received a kick to the face. "Tell your mom I took it. What's she gonna do about it?" Finally, Naruto turned to the crying girl. She recoiled, but he crouched beside her, face softening. "You okay?" "Why yes, thank you," she murmured, avoiding eye contact. "What's your name?" Sakura, Sakura Haruno." His eyes widened. She was the daughter of Maybuki Haruno, one of the few people on the civilian council who had ever shown him kindness. Food, clothes, and open ear Maybuki had helped him survive. And now he'd saved her daughter. He'd keep her safe. That would be his way of repaying a rare act of compassion. "Well then, Sakura-chan," he said, offering her a hand. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Wanna be friends?" From that day forward, he became her shield, her closest friend, and someone who kept her away from the darker corners of his life. Flashback. End. The boys he fought had been hospitalized, and their parents tried to press charges. But with Maybuki speaking on his behalf and the attack technically being self-defense, Naruto walked free once again. If that's all, I'm done here, Naruto said, standing up. Hiruzen watched him with sad eyes. Don't look at me like that, Naruto growled. You want me to be like my parents, right? The old man lowered his gaze. It was true. He had hoped Naruto would reflect the best of his lineage, but that seemed like a lost cause now. And you still won't even tell me who they were, Naruto said coldly. Coward! He turned and walked out, disgusted by the man who claimed to protect the village but let it tear a child apart. If something needs to change, I'll change it myself. The idea sparked within him. I'll become Hokage. And when I do, I'll fix this rotten village. As he exited the building and stepped into the village streets, hateful glares followed him. He slowly drew a large knife from his waistband and let a wave of killing intent seep out. Silent, cold, unmistakable, try me. He'd used the Nine-Tails chakra once already and left a trail of corpses behind. Since then, Hiruzen tampered with the seal, trying to prevent another massacre. But every now and then, another drunk would think they could handle the demon. A few bruises and broken ribs later, they'd learn otherwise. As Naruto walked into the red light district, the mood shifted. Here, the glances were warm. Friendly, this was where the outcasts lived, people like him. Naruto-kun, someone squealed, dragging him into a smothering embrace. He sighed, not entirely resisting. Men nearby glared enviously. A curvy woman with long orange hair and a bold bikini top pressed against him. I missed you. Hey, don't hog him. A tan brunette wearing a similar revealing outfit pulled Naruto into her arms. You got him last time. My turn, a wavy-haired pinkette added, sandwiching him into her cleavage. She wore a skimpy red outfit that left little to the imagination. Naruto didn't complain. The attention was better than scorn, and deep down, he didn't mind making the rest of the village burn with jealousy. Ladies, can. Naruto was cut off as a firm flick landed on his forehead, courtesy of the fiery-haired woman. How many times do we have to tell you, call us one-chan? Yeah, I get it, Nami, Naruto mumbled, rubbing his forehead. These women could be a handful, but they were like older sisters to him. At least, that's what Nami always claimed. Good, now what are you up to, little brother? Asked the brunette as she pulled Naruto into a warm embrace. He hugged her back. These women had carved a spot in his young heart that no one else could replace. Well, Konoha-chan, he said, glancing up at the now smiling woman, I was headed to check on Sakura-chan. Some kids were bothering her again. So it's happening again, huh? Kana sighed. But Naru-chan, you really can't keep getting into fights. What if the gods decide you're too much trouble for the afterlife? Then I'll make my own afterlife, and punch the gods in the face if I meet them, Naruto replied boldly, his expression sharp. The pink-haired woman chimed in with a soft laugh. Would it kill you to pray once in a while? Vanessa-chan, for you, just once, Naruto exhaled, making her smile as she gave him a peck on the cheek. All right, let the little romantic run off to his future bride, Nami teased with a grin. It's not like that, and get to work, you lazy bums, Naruto shot back. Kana groaned. It's been dead today, can't you stay and hang with us? The other girls miss you. She playfully puffed up her chest, trying to tempt him into sticking around. When he did, it was always a good time, cards, singing, dancing, laughing. I've already wasted enough time, Naruto said, turning to pat down his clothes before strolling off, waving behind him. He's one of a kind, Kana said, watching him leave. Yeah, Nami added, hand on her chest. I just hope someone up there is looking out for him. He's already got too much weight on his shoulders. He'll be all right. Our little hustler's tougher than he looks, Vanessa said, taking a long swig from her bottle. Naruto walked briskly through the streets until he reached a small house, Sakura's place. After knocking, he heard approaching footsteps. Hey, Naru-chan. Maybuki greeted him with a warm, maternal smile that made something flutter in his chest. Her shoulder-length blonde hair framed her kind, green eyes. She wore a loose pink top with 3 red circles on the back, white pants that fit snugly, and plain brown slippers. Come in. Sakura's been worried about you, Naruto faked a pout. What? You weren't worried about me too? She bonked him on the head playfully. You're the reason I'm getting gray hairs. She tugged a strand of blonde hair to reveal a silver thread. Or maybe you're just getting old, Naruto teased, earning a painful tug on the ear. Who's old? I'm in the prime of my life, she snapped, letting him go. Sakura. Naru-chan's here. Suddenly, footsteps thundered from the hall and Sakura appeared, beaming. She wore a navy dress with tan diamonds on the sleeves, tan leggings, and a red bow in her pink hair, one Naruto had gifted her on her birthday. Naruto-kun, she cried, launching into his arms. He caught her and spun her around, both of them giggling like children in a world of their own. Maybuki watched from the doorway, heart full. They looked like siblings. Sometimes, she felt more like Naruto's mother than Sakura's. After all, he was always around, protecting her daughter, staying the night, even risking his life for them. She still remembered the night she found him bloodied and bruised, fighting off a gang with only a knife and his fists. He had even killed one of them. She'd finished off the others herself, her old ninja training kicking in. She brought him home that night, bathed him, comforted him. And when Sakura joined them in the bath, worried for his safety, the boy finally smiled again. That night they all slept in her bed, warm and safe. Naruto-kun. I thought the Hokage was going to punish you, Sakura said softly, hugging him tighter. I'm okay. Part of that is thanks to Mrs. Haruno, Naruto said with genuine warmth. I told you to call me Maybuki, she sighed. But deep down, she didn't mind the respect he gave her. Sakura pulled Naruto to the couch, and they relaxed together, laughing at the TV. Maybuki joined them with snacks and drinks but muted the volume. Her face was serious. Naruto-kun, I heard something today that bothered me. What is it? He asked, sitting up straighter. I overheard something after a council meeting. They're planning to break into your apartment. Naruto's expression didn't change much. He was used to it, but Sakura and Maybuki weren't. They won't succeed, he said calmly. They never do. They said they plan to kill you. Her voice was barely a whisper. The air turned cold. Naruto's grip on Sakura's hand tightened just a little, but Maybuki noticed. What? Sakura gasped. That's insane. Why would they want Naruto-kun dead? He hasn't even become a shinobi yet. Rage and confusion twisted inside her. She didn't care if the whole village hated him. Killing him was unforgivable. Naruto pulled her into his chest and stroked her hair. Don't worry, Sakura-chan. They're just making threats. Maybuki watched him carefully. He comforted Sakura, but who would comfort him? Did they say when? Naruto asked, his tone analytical. 6, half an hour from now. Naruto checked the time. That's enough. I can get my essentials out. He started to stand, but Sakura clung to him. No, don't go, stay here. I'll be quick, I promise, he said gently, peeling her off with strength she couldn't match. And I always keep my word. At the door, Maybuki tried one last time. Just stay here, let it go. I can't. If I stay, they might come here. I won't risk your home. He slipped on his shoes, gave them a brave smile, and was suddenly wrapped in a tight embrace by both women. They clung to him like it was the last time. Be safe, my son, Maybuki whispered. She had earned the right to call him that, and no one could tell her otherwise. Naruto's eyes widened, then he turned and left without a word, glancing back only once. Will Big Brother be okay? Sakura asked softly. He'll come back, he promised, didn't he? Maybuki whispered, holding her daughter close. Naruto raced through the streets, expression hard. Oh, they really got me messed up this time. He burst into his apartment and ran to his room, yanking a box from under his bed. He pulled a hidden key from his waistband and unlocked it. Inside was a single photo, him, Sakura, and Maybuki, smiling in their backyard, soaked from the water bucket they dumped on her head after the photo. Naruto stared at it, a smile tugging at his lips. There was another photo of Arashi and Sakura dozing off after spending a long day together. Another image showed Arashi surrounded by his older sisters. He was sitting inside a pleasure house, wearing a playful crown, while the women sang a cheerful birthday song to him. Arashi smiled wistfully, tucking the pictures into his pocket before picking up another key. He stood and hurried over to a door secured with 5 separate locks. Unlocking each one, he revealed neatly packed white powder, bundled into bricks. They'll never get their hands on this again. Arashi muttered, lifting one of the bricks and shutting the door behind him. He then smashed the key with a hammer. It was a closely guarded secret. Arashi was the village's unseen supplier. While rumors of a drug kingpin floated through the streets, no one suspected it was the blonde boy running the brothels and underground business. He used the pleasure house as a front for his operations, gradually spreading his influence beyond the hidden leaf. With his earnings, he even renovated the red light district, quietly gifting ownership to Sakura's mother. After stashing a few more items into his clothes, Arashi prepared to leave. Bang. His head whipped toward the entrance as the door crashed open. Show yourself, monster. They didn't waste any time, did they? Arashi said with a hollow chuckle. He grabbed a Bowie knife with a black hilt and a gleaming 16-inch silver blade with a sharp tip. He slid it into a black leather sheath marked with a small swirl, a gift from Maybuki. I'd rather die than be caught. Watch me spill blood before they take me. Some will fall, that's guaranteed. I live this life, and if you believe in something, you fight for it, even die for it. When it's my time, I'll choose how I go. Forget peace, I'm riding till the end. With that, Arashi braced himself. He stepped into view with his trademark smirk, causing the angry mob to sneer. We'll wipe that grin off your face. Is that right? Well then, make your move. Arashi gestured them inside. They charged in, weapons drawn. One villager tripped a wire, prompting Arashi to grin wickedly. A hidden blade dropped from above, impaling a man through the skull. "Mind your step," he taunted. "You damn trickster," someone shouted. "Just like that cursed bloodline." "Demon brat," Arashi's smile widened. They had no clue how deep they were. With a swift motion, he cut a second wire, dropping a large, spiked log. Screams rang out as some were crushed and thrown out the door. Arashi noticed one man crawling away and calmly walked over, plunging his knife into the man's head. "Painted the ground red," he muttered, kicking the corpse. "Yeah, that one's done." The 8-year-old stepped outside to see more villagers gathered. Suddenly, a heavy strike from behind flung him into the crowd. He scrambled to his feet, knife at the ready, and scanned the crowd. Then he saw him, white hair with a blue tinge, dressed in Chunin gear, a windmill shuriken on his back. It was Mizuki, the academy teacher. "That bastard. I'll remember this," Arashi growled, slashing at the mob as they closed in. He attacked with brutal efficiency, biting, punching, stabbing, spitting, anything to survive, but their numbers overwhelmed him. As he bled and fought, one thought echoed in his mind: where are the ANBU? Why isn't anyone stopping this? A jagged bottle was plunged into his side. Arashi roared, retaliating by stabbing his attacker in the throat. Another blow landed on his back, then a punch to the face dropped him. They descended like wolves. They beat and stabbed him relentlessly, but he refused to scream. He wouldn't give them that. Time passed. He lay in a pool of his own blood, ribs cracked, limbs broken. With his one good eye, he watched looters storm his home. He laughed, coughing blood. "T told you, why you'd never get my stash." He formed a shaky hand seal. "Sweet dreams, bastards." With one last surge of chakra, he triggered the explosive tags hidden inside. A deafening explosion tore through the building, rocking the entire district. Elsewhere, Sakura watched from her window, eyes wide in horror as fire lit the sky. "No," she cried, collapsing in Maybuki's arms, sobbing. Maybuki herself stared in shock, unable to look away. Arashi's vision faded. His last thoughts were of his sisters, and Maybuki, then darkness. When he next opened his eyes, all sensation was gone. He floated in a void, unable to feel, to move, to see anything beyond the endless black. Then something touched his neck. He turned and met a pair of blazing red eyes filled with pure rage. "You reckless brat, you got us both killed. If I weren't already dead, I'd kill you myself. And if I could slap the hell out of you, I would," Arashi snapped back. "Do you even know who you're talking to?" The killing intent hit Arashi like a tidal wave, knocking him to his knees. He gritted his teeth, forcing himself to rise. Yeah, stupid fox, don't care." The chakra beast snarled. "If I hadn't been forced to attack your village, neither of us would be here." "Right. Killing dozens and taking out the Hokage sure looks forced," Arashi scoffed. "I never chose to attack your pitiful village," the fox growled. "If I had my way, I'd be far from this cursed country." Arashi narrowed his eyes. "What do you mean, if it were your choice?" The fox blinked. "HMPH, sharp for a brat. You were controlled, weren't you?" Arashi smirked. The fox's eyes widened. Before he could respond, a red light engulfed them. The void lit up, revealing the towering form of the Nine Tails. Arashi burst out laughing. "Haha, bunny ears. You've got giant bunny ears." Kurama twitched violently, a vein throbbing on his head. He opened his mouth, forming a massive ball of dark energy. Hey, it was just a joke," Arashi cried nervously. "Well, joke in the afterlife," the fox roared, launching the tailed beast bomb. Arashi didn't flinch. He stood tall, staring it down. "If I'm dying again, I'm not going out like a coward." Just before it hit, a new force swatted the bomb away like a fly, sending it crashing miles away with a deafening boom. "No fighting, not yet." A woman's sultry voice rang out. She stepped forward, jet black hair, golden slit eyes, and horns curling from her skull. Black wings folded at her waist. She wore a flawless white gown with silky gloves and a web-like gold necklace. "Damn," Arashi whispered, eyes wide. "She's hotter than all the girls at the house. I'd be swimming in money if she worked for me." Ara, little Naruto," the woman purred, turning her golden gaze on the boy with a look that could melt steel. His cheeks lit up with a rosy hue as her beauty ensnared his attention like a moth to flame. "At last, we meet." She clasped his hand and effortlessly pulled him to his feet, pressing him into her ample chest with little resistance. Who are you?" Naruto stammered, clearly flustered. "Who am I?" she said with a lilting giggle, bringing a hand to her lips. "I've been called the devil, the queen of the damned, the vilest of evils. But you may call me Albedo, sovereign of the underworld." Both Naruto and the massive fox spirit behind him gawked in disbelief. The boy blinked. Was he actually standing before the ruler of hell? That could only mean one thing: he was dead. And if that were the case, well, might as well aim for the top. The fox had different priorities. She swatted away my tailed beast bomb like it was a fly. Maybe I should try again. Could have just been luck. Damn, you're fine as hell, Naruto muttered, the only thing his young mind could conjure. Cheesy, sure, but he was just 8 after all. Albedo chuckled to herself. As expected, he's unafraid, bold. If the gods had left him be, he'd have fulfilled their little prophecy with ease. But the way he's turning out. She trailed a finger under Naruto's chin, lifting his gaze to meet her golden eyes, gleaming with 1,000 dark memories. Naruto, you've died. Yeah, I figured, thanks for the bluntness. But your journey doesn't end here, Albedo continued. I reached you before the Divine Council could intervene. They likely planned to bring you back to fulfill their prophecy. Ah, so old folks playing puppet master again, Naruto replied, crossing his arms. Gotta love that. Also, can we get some chairs or something? I'm not standing around in hell all day. Amused by his impudent tone, Albedo resisted the urge to torment him just for fun, barely. With a snap, skeletal thrones appeared, one of which Naruto flopped into. Kurama, the fox, was shrunk to the size of a horse and given his own seat. These bones are oddly soft, Naruto muttered, shifting around. They're made from demonic beast remains, high tier of course, Albedo said as though giving a lesson. They adapt their structure at will. Naruto sat up straighter, his expression sobering. All right, let's cut the fluff. Why am I here? The woman admired his sharp shift in demeanor. For one so young to switch gears so fast, it was thrilling. Her interest deepened. I've got a proposition for you, she replied, flashing a wicked smile. A pact with the devil, huh? Naruto laughed, though his eyes were cold. My mom would beat my ass for even thinking about this. A shadow passed over his face. You mean Maybuki Haruno, Albedo said knowingly. No, I meant my real mother. Kushina Uzumaki, Albedo confirmed. The second vessel of Kurama. Naruto's gaze drifted to the fox. His blue eyes were sharp with fury. What of it? Kurama said flatly, ignoring the boy's weak killing intent. Why reveal my name? The fox growled, turning toward Albedo. A pulse of her power made the beast go rigid, as he was forced to witness visions of his own brutal death. Terror gripped him. This woman was no pretender. Because I wanted to, she said simply, silencing any protest. Naruto interrupted again. You know who my father is. The fourth Hokage, she answered without hesitation. Naruto lowered his head. For a moment he was still, then laughter escaped him, but it wasn't warm, it was hollow. So, the old man lied. I've been scraping by in the slums while my father rules the village. Classic, regaining composure, Naruto looked Albedo square in the eye. Let's return to that deal. I have conditions, he stated. Gone was the humor, this was a negotiation. Albedo raised a brow. So he wasn't a piece to be played, he wanted a seat at the table. Go on, she said, her hands glowing with dark energy. I'll become the Demon King. I'm dead, so I need a new body. I want to retain my chakra and gain access to any power I come across. I also want free travel between this realm and the mortal one. Kurama was floored. This brat really just demanded all that from her. Demon King, Albedo echoed, blinking. Is this some divine prank? Yup, all of it, Naruto confirmed coolly. Albedo burst into manic laughter. This boy was either insane or a prodigy. She calmed herself, lips curling into a sadistic grin. You've got a deal. But know this, when you travel between realms, it'll trigger alarms. The Demon Slayer Corps will come for you. Angels forged for the sole purpose of hunting demons who cross over had waged wars for centuries. Most demons that escaped were weak and slaughtered easily. Only the strong could slip through unseen, but even they paid dearly. Let them come, Naruto smirked. Killing an angel sounds fun. Oh, it is, Albedo replied, her eyes gleaming. Their screams intoxicating. All right, Naruto said, stepping forward. Let's seal this deal. Of course I can do it, she said, almost offended. Rising from her bone throne, she approached him. Kurama stepped back, an ominous feeling washing over him. On 3, Albedo smiled sweetly. 1, 3, she declared, placing her hands on Naruto's head. His scream pierced the void as raw power ripped through his being. When she stepped back, Naruto convulsed. The air cracked with dark energy, then an explosion of light and shadow erupted, shaking the very fabric of their realm. Silence. Albedo blinked. Did I destroy him? Kurama stared at the spot in disbelief. He still wasn't reforming. Turning to Albedo, he growled, Why haven't I returned to the world? Her eyes gleamed with mischief. Because your soul was tied to his. In death, you came with him. I'd still reform back home. I severed your tie to Naruto, but doing so also converted you into one of us. Kurama's eyes widened. You're no longer just a tailed beast, you're now a demon fox, and Naruto's bonded companion. I refuse, send me back, Kurama snarled. Albedo raised a hand to silence him, then her eyes widened, feeling a presence stir. Organs, bone, muscle, and flesh rapidly constructed a new form. Before them stood a figure, male, older, and powerfully built. Naruto was reborn. The young man had raven-black hair that seemed to draw out the silver in the darkness around him. His eyes were a striking combination of deep onyx and blood crimson, black irises, framed by glowing red pupils, outlined with a vivid scarlet ring. His facial features were sharp and refined, exuding an air of nobility. His physique was near flawless, lean and agile, clearly built for speed, yet his well-defined muscles hinted at the power he held beneath. Most notably, a pair of jet-black dragon horns curved proudly from his scalp, glinting faintly in the gloom. He was, in all, a dangerously attractive figure, one destined to steal hearts. Albedo's cheeks flushed red as she gazed at the figure before her. Without a doubt, this was Naruto, or rather, the transformed version of him. She could sense his overwhelming presence, now that of a demon dragon of elite rank. If she let her guard down, he might even surpass her in influence over the next millennium. But being a succubus, desire stirred deep within her, desire that only this version of Naruto could ignite. Now this is what I'm talking about. Naruto clenched his fists, flexing subconsciously and unintentionally giving Albedo a tantalizing view. The now mature-looking Naruto grinned with satisfaction as raw power surged through his veins. His sharpened senses picked up a sweet scent. Looking to Albedo, he saw her panting slightly, cheeks flushed. His instincts flared, and something within him responded. Albedo could no longer restrain herself. She lunged at Naruto, and he caught her effortlessly. Their lips collided in a feral, heated kiss. It was wild, passionate, a battle for dominance. Their hands roamed freely, and though Albedo had far more experience, Naruto refused to yield to her as easily as most did. Breaking the kiss, Albedo's eyes burned with desire, while Naruto looked equally consumed by instinct. "To my quarters, little dragon," she purred, snapping her fingers. In a flash, the two vanished, transported to a chamber fit for royalty. Kurama, who had been nearby, let out an audible groan. Clearly done with the situation, he used his tails to open the door and fled the room, mumbling in complaint. By the next day, Naruto stood in the throne room of the demon castle, Kurama at his side grumbling under his breath. The red-eyed teen wore a sleeveless, form-fitting black shirt, paired with loose crimson pants tucked into black chain boots. His gloved hands bore fingerless black gloves, the knuckles reinforced with dark metal. Albedo had said it was of high-tier quality. Draped over it, all was a long black cloak with a shadowed hood. Naruto offered Albedo a rare smile. She had helped him more than anyone had in a long time, and he intended to repay her kindness, though now was not the time. His goal remained unchanged: conquest of the underworld. Albedo sat confidently on her opulent throne, surrounded by her entourage, a collection of humans, demons, hybrids, and beastfolk. She turned her gaze on Naruto and gave him a dark, knowing grin. "You seek to become the Demon King, don't you?" The room erupted in murmurs of disbelief, silenced only by a raise of her hand. One man didn't heed the warning. A slender figure with white hair and short demon horns sprang forward, sword drawn and aura blazing. "You insolent whelp!" he shouted as he rushed Naruto, intent on decapitation. Naruto's eyes gleamed red, an intricate rune forming in their glow. The attacker froze midair, then crumbled to ash, leaving behind only a shimmering red flame. Something in Naruto told him to consume it. His eyes shifted to vertical slits and his fangs peeked out. With a glowing red hand, he seized the soul, ignoring its desperate resistance. Opening his mouth, Naruto devoured it whole, and felt an immense power erupt inside him, shaking the entire castle. "Now that's what I'm talking about," Naruto muttered, picking up the attacker's fallen blade. It was a sleek, curved weapon roughly 39 inches long. Its black hilt was wrapped in red cloth, capped with a small skull that had glowing crimson eyes. The red guard complemented the blade's silver finish, which bore a faint image of a dragon curling along its edge, crafted from the bones of high-tier demons. A formidable weapon, well-suited for the battles ahead. The scabbard was equally striking, black, adorned with a red dragon in flight. Albedo was stunned. What Naruto had just used was the Magen, a rare magic eye that could perceive invisible forces. By channeling energy into the eyes, users could track blood flow, spot hidden things, or analyze magical constructs in great detail. At its peak, the Magen allowed the bearer to see through illusions, decipher enchantments, and copy techniques with uncanny precision. If Naruto mastered it, few would be able to stand in his way. "Okay, before you turn anyone else to dust," Albedo clapped her hands. Naruto, Kurama, you are to journey across the demon realm and lay claim to the title of Demon King. Naruto nodded firmly while Kurama scoffed, muttering under his breath until Naruto thumped him on the head. Focus, she might actually give us something useful, Naruto hissed. Kurama bared his fangs in response. It'll be a long road, so you best get started now, Albedo said with finality. Naruto turned and began walking, his new weapon slung across his back, his fox companion following. Albedo watched him go. She had no doubts about his potential. The real question was, how far would he go? Don't die, you arrogant brat. I hate wasting my rare moments of kindness. Yeah, nice to know you believe in your future Demon King, Naruto waved over his shoulder. A part of her wanted to punish him for that, but another part appreciated the defiance. Not everyone had the backbone to talk back to her. Once outside, Naruto leapt onto Kurama's back and raised his sword toward the crimson sky. The glow of the sun behind him created a rather striking image. Oh, absolutely not, Kurama snapped. He flung Naruto off and growled. I am not a mount, I'm the great nine-tailed beast. Wow, didn't take long to own that title, huh? Naruto muttered, brushing himself off and pulling up his hood. He paused and looked back at Albedo one last time, smirking. The Demon Queen flushed slightly, though she quickly composed herself. With Kurama beside him, Naruto set off, on a path to conquer the underworld and claim his throne. Council room, the air was dense with unease, almost suffocating. The clan leaders sat tensely on one side of the long table, still reeling from the chaos that erupted the day before. On the opposite end, the civilian council members were barely able to contain their glee. The so-called demon brat was finally gone, and in their naive minds, that meant peace. The strategic ramifications of this loss didn't even cross their minds, all except for Maybuki Haruno. Arms folded across her chest, her warm green eyes were now clouded with quiet fury. She didn't even want to be in the room. Her heart ached for her daughter, who was inconsolable. Maybuki had left Sakura in the care of the women at Naruto's establishment, who adored the girl and promised to watch over her. For that she was thankful. Hiruzen Sarutobi cast a somber glance at Maybuki, regret weighed heavy on his shoulders. The fourth Hokage's son, Naruto Uzumaki, was gone. And with him, the Nine Tails, their village's deterrent against large-scale threats. Though Konoha still had capable shinobi, they had lost their most powerful weapon. He exhaled and tapped a stack of documents on the table, catching everyone's attention. I imagine we all have mixed reactions to the recent incident. Some nodded solemnly. The civilians smiled faintly, while the clan heads exchanged grim looks. The assault on Naruto Uzumaki was nothing short of disgraceful, Hiruzen said, noting Maybuki's subtle flinch at the name. It wasn't just the loss of a child, that boy was our safeguard, keeping the Nine Tails sealed away. One civilian abruptly stood. What are you saying, Lord Third? We did what the fourth tried to do, we eliminated the demon. Maybuki's glare alone could have incinerated the man, causing him to retreat back to his seat, pale-faced. Hiruzen's own scowl deepened. The child is dead, yes, but the beast, it will return. The tailed beasts are chakra incarnate, they reform over time. He paused to let that sink in. For generations, these creatures have been tools of war, keeping nations at bay. We had the strongest of them all. Without it, we're vulnerable. A round man blinked. But what's that got to do with the boy? Shikaku Nara rubbed his temples. Naruto was in Uzumaki. That clan specialized in sealing arts. They were one of the few who could contain a tailed beast, especially the Nine Tails. The realization crept into the room slowly. Faces shifted from confusion to alarm. With no Uzumaki or seal master left to confine it, we're sitting ducks when it comes back, Hiruzen added gravely. We're screwed, Tsume said bluntly. You could phrase it more diplomatically, Shibai muttered behind his collar. Oh hush, everyone's thinking it, Tsume replied, rolling her eyes. What do we do now? Koharu asked, concern etched into her aging features. If the other villages catch wind of this, they might strike while we're exposed, Hemura added. Danzo scoffed. None of this would have happened if you'd handed the boy over to me. Nobody even responded to him. Bigger issues loomed. We pretend nothing has changed, Hiruzen said firmly. For now, only the clan heads and Maybuki stay. Everyone else is dismissed. Once the room cleared out, Hayashi spoke. What is it, Lord Hokage? There are additional details about Naruto I need to share. The clan heads looked indifferent, but Maybuki leaned forward, fully alert. Tsume smirked. What? Was the kid secretly running some underworld empire? She joked. The look on Hiruzen's face wiped the grin off hers. He motioned to an ANBU, who appeared and handed over a small, black-bound book. Hiruzen held it up. This is titled The 10 Crack Laws, authored by Naruto Uzumaki. It's essentially his manual, how he organized his operations, avoided detection, and built his network, Hiruzen said, voice low with sorrow. He was just a child. I want to hear this, Inoichi said, sitting up straighter. Let's understand how we allowed a child to do all this. The Hokage sighed. The language was crude, the structure a mess, but the intent was disturbingly clear. Maybuki hid her face in her hands. She wasn't sure whether to be appalled, ashamed, or proud. He had run an entire empire in the shadows, unnoticed. It was horrifying and impressive. Eventually, she rose and left without a word. Everyone knew she had been closest to Naruto. Well, that was unexpected, Inoichi said flatly. I wish I could have studied his mind while he was alive. I want to know what this cake he mentions is, Tsume muttered. Do we have any solid proof of his operations? Hayashi asked. Hiruzen flipped through the book again. Nothing specific, no location details. But from what we recovered from the ruins of his home, he opened a case and placed a heavy, wrapped item on the table. This is what he called crack. Outside the village cemetery, Maybuki laid a single flower on a grave. The simple stone read Naruto Uzumaki. A tear fell down her cheek, but she quickly wiped it away. His funeral was small. Most villagers still hated him, but those from his brothel and the red light district came in full. They brought flowers, shared stories, and paid their respects. He had clothed the poor, sheltered the homeless, and created a strange kind of order in the shadows. He once called himself the Muthafrican Don, a nickname Sakura had gleefully copied. Maybuki chuckled, remembering how they'd get scolded for it. Too soon, she whispered, brushing dust off the tombstone. There was so much more he could have done, but he was gone. She left the cemetery and approached the mansion known simply as Happy Place. It wasn't much in name, but it had brought joy to many. She knocked on the polished front door. Who's there? A voice called from within. It's Maybuki. I've come for my daughter. Maybuki-sama. The door opened instantly, revealing a man in striking orange armor, sword at his hip. Naruto had insisted they treat Maybuki like royalty, the lady of the house. They obeyed that command without question. Hello, Curtis, she greeted the long-haired man politely. Good day, Lady Maybuki, he bowed deeply. Is Sakura upstairs? She's with Nami, Kana, and Vanessa. They've been with her all day. Curtis smiled. They even canceled their clients to comfort her. Thank you. Maybuki gave him a small wave and walked into the hall. As always, the interior was spotless. Shining oak floors, glowing chandeliers, plush seating, and a bar filled with laughter and strong drinks. Dancers in lace performed around a pole, while patrons tossed bills in appreciation. Despite the place's appearance, it had heart. And for better or worse, Naruto had built it. Music played faintly in the background, barely masking the loud cheers from a rowdy crowd of men, and some women throwing cash toward the stage. The mother flushed with discomfort, regretting once again stepping into this place. Each visit only ended with her wanting to leave as soon as possible. Maybuki began to question her decision to bring Sakura here in the first place. It was already lively despite it being early in the day. At night, the chaos would only multiply. Naruto once joked about the weirdos coming out after dark. That boy always had a strange sense of humor. Several people waved or nodded in her direction. Maybuki could only offer a bashful wave before making her way toward a wooden staircase tucked along the back wall. She climbed the stairs to a second floor that resembled a lounge space, complete with private rooms. Rose petals decorated the floor while soft, ambient music played. At the far end of the hall stood a large chamber labeled the Crimson King's Room. That was Naruto's quarters, off-limits to all unless he said otherwise. Maybuki approached and knocked on the door, hoping someone would answer. It's Maybuki, Nami, anyone there? She heard the soft shuffle of slippers followed by muffled voices. The door creaked open, revealing Nami in a baggy sweater, her fiery orange hair tied up casually. Hey Maybuki-sama, we've got the little pink one right here. Nami stepped aside to let her in, revealing a lavish chamber fit for royalty. Mommy! Sakura jumped off the oversized bed and rushed into her mother's arms. Maybuki smiled, scooping her daughter up gently. Hey sweetie, you doing all right? Sakura nodded. Now that you're here, yeah. A voice groaned from the bed, catching their attention. Vainsa lounged there in deep red undergarments. Don't act like we didn't have any fun, she teased. It was actually a good time, Kana added, setting her liquor bottle aside. She was at least dressed, though not modestly. And no, I didn't mean it like that. I had a lot of fun. Sakura tried to fix her wording. The women laughed at Sakura's flustered reaction until Nami came to her rescue. Relax, Sakura-chan, we're just teasing. Thanks again, ladies. I really appreciate it, Maybuki said warmly. These were the only ones she trusted to watch over her daughter, especially with everything they had just learned about Naruto today. No problem. Don't hesitate to reach out again. Nami clapped her hands, summoning two massive guards in dark uniforms to escort them out. Maybuki bowed gratefully and departed, still carrying Sakura in her arms as she made her way home. Back in the Crimson Room, the atmosphere shifted. The three women glared at a man who had entered without welcome. He was pale, had messy brown hair, and sported a goatee. His brown eyes matched his unkempt appearance. He looked to be in his late 30s. He wore a battle robe similar to the other guards, only his was open, exposing a battered chest. His trousers were brown, with white wraps around his legs up to the knees. A short sword hilt poked out from his back. "What do you want, Flask?" Nami asked with venom. She, like everyone else, hated the man. No one understood how Naruto tolerated him. He was the head of security, strong but unpleasant. "I just came to offer my respects to the grieving mother," he said in a gruff, insincere tone. "You stay away from her. You know what Naruto said," Kana snapped. "Shut your mouth, slut. Unless it's wrapped around something useful," Flask growled. Kana snarled and drew a knife. "Say that again and I'll gut you," Nami quickly stepped between them. "Kana, stop, you know we can't beat him," Flask sneered. "Let's make one thing clear. I run things now, everything that brat used to control mine now." He drew his sword and cast a threatening glare. "So get out of my room." Reluctantly, the girls grabbed their things and filed out, silent and fuming. Vainsa dared to speak. "Why are you doing this? You know Naruto said it should go to the great lady if anything happened to him." A wicked grin curled on Flask's lips. "That kid's gone, all thanks to those gullible townsfolk." Just a few whispers in the right ears was all it took. The women's expressions twisted in horror. "You were behind it," Nami whispered. Rage simmered in her eyes. Naruto was like a brother to her. But Flask had been a shinobi, even if just a chunin, and they couldn't oppose him directly. The heavy door slammed shut behind him, his cruel laughter echoing in the hallway. The women clenched their fists. They were now under the thumb of the man they despised most. Hell, Albedo's throne room. Albedo lounged on her throne, thinking. Naruto and Kurama had just left. Her thoughts lingered on him, on that boy. She was tempted to consult the seer and peek into Naruto's future. But where's the fun in that? Mystery was more exciting. Questions spun through her mind. How had Naruto become a demonic dragon, and a high-tier one at that? She had only planned to make him a demon and watch him grow. But he'd exceeded expectations. His mana was unusually dense and potent, especially for a new demon. Perhaps it was because he was born in the endless void. No, that place was just a divider between realms. "My queen," she looked up. Standing beside her throne was a knight clad in pitch-black armor so dark it made shadows retreat. His shoulder plates resembled screaming faces, his helmet adorned with crystal horns. A monstrous axe rested in his grip, glowing with 3 crimson eyes. "Yes," she replied. "That boy, he was a dragon." Albedo smirked. "I'd expect nothing less from you, my knight. I do not deserve such praise." "Nonsense. But what about his origin?" he pressed. "SHH," she whispered, holding a finger to her lips. "That's our little secret. Naruto is one of a kind, rare, precious." "Why not tell him?" Albedo gave a dark chuckle. "Because watching him struggle in ignorance is so much more entertaining." "You truly are wicked," she pouted playfully. "Mean tilde but accurate." "Will he survive this?" the knight mused aloud. Albedo simply smiled and conjured a magical screen. A memory played. An 8-year-old Naruto stood in a room. Behind him were Curtis and Flask. A man knelt before them, lips bleeding, face pale with fear. "I'll ask once more, where's my money?" Naruto's tone was calm, but his eyes, red and slitted, spoke of fury. "Let's just kill him already," Flask barked, raising his sword. Naruto's gaze snapped to him, silent but clear. "Stand down." He turned back to the trembling man Jacob. His black hair was disheveled, his eyes pleading. 50,000. 2 weeks, that was the deal. And now I find you trying to run. Naruto grabbed Jacob by the collar. "Where is my money?" Jacob hesitated, weighing his options. He had planned to flee to Tanzaku Town, where another gang protected him. But somehow Naruto found out. A fist crashed into Jacob's face. Then another, and another. Naruto didn't stop. Finally he backed off and said coldly, "Curtis, take his leg." "And no, wait, please." Jacob stumbled back in panic as Curtis advanced, katana glinting under the dim light. Each of Curtis's slow steps echoed with deadly intent. "Okay, I'll talk." Jacob cracked under the pressure, his voice high-pitched with fear. "Start talking," Naruto said coldly, his large dagger resting just beneath Jacob's chin. "It's under the floorboard, far right corner of the room." Naruto nodded slightly, motioning Flask with his head. Without hesitation, Flask stepped forward, pried up the indicated board, and uncovered a hidden stash brimming with money, narcotics, and crumpled documents. He laid everything out in front of Naruto. Flask eyed the stash hungrily, greed simmering just below the surface. He craved it all, but now wasn't the moment. Not with the ever-loyal Curtis hovering nearby like a hawk. Naruto sifted through the money, his crimson eyes flickering with interest as he weighed the crack in his palm. But it was the papers that truly caught his attention. His gaze darkened as he scanned the contents. Then he turned his focus to Jacob, who was already battered and barely able to keep his one good eye open. "So, you're the rat. The one leaking our routes and getting our shipments intercepted," Naruto said, voice low and dangerous. Jacob remained silent, knowing there was nothing left to say. His betrayal was now undeniable, his end inevitable. "You damn traitor," Curtis growled, his rage barely contained. The idea that someone would betray Naruto, their leader, filled him with fury. Naruto's eyes flared brighter as he crushed the papers in his fist. Of all people, Crystal Love. His chakra began to flood the room with a heavy, suffocating pressure. Pocketing the drugs and cash, Naruto turned toward the door. "Wait, please." Jacob crawled forward, grasping at Naruto's leg. "I'm going to be a father. My girlfriend's pregnant, please let me see her once more." Naruto paused, glancing down at the trembling man for a brief second before replying, "And why should that matter to me?" The words froze Jacob's blood. Naruto, the boy who was only 8 years old, showed no flicker of mercy. "Finish him," Naruto ordered coolly before stepping out, leaving Curtis to carry out the execution. Flask trailed behind him silently. In another realm, Albedo shut her viewing tablet with a satisfied smirk. "Told you he's doing just fine." "Indeed," replied the knight beside her with a nod. "It'll be interesting to see where his path leads." Now, back to work. Albedo adjusted her spectacles and a grand desk materialized in front of her. Paperwork began to appear. After all, hell didn't run itself. Back in Inferno Hell, Naruto strolled confidently down the crimson-paved road, a wide grin splitting his face. He couldn't stop himself. His hands frequently rose to brush the horns atop his head. "You look ridiculous. Quit smiling like that," Kurama muttered irritably. Naruto's childlike wonder was grating, especially with the bizarre sights surrounding them: red skies, strange creatures walking and flying, and an ominous black tower stabbing through the heavens in the distance. "I can't help it, I just got laid," Naruto said, brimming with enthusiasm. Kurama stared at him in disbelief. "That's not something to celebrate under the circumstances." "Why not? Albedo's insanely hot. I'd let her do it again, though she did tie me up." "You need serious help," Kurama deadpanned. Naruto, unfazed, flexed his limbs. His new form felt alien yet powerful. Something far beyond chakra now coursed through him, magic. And it was destructive. Even the sword strapped to his side radiated with dark energy. In the distance, a quaint town came into view, with medieval architecture reminiscent of the Hidden Leaf, if the leaf had been pulled into a gothic fairy tale. "Let's gather some info, that town might be useful." Naruto pointed, and they made their way toward it. A worn sign read, "Welcome to Inferno Hell." "So this is Inferno Hell, makes sense. Looks organized, probably all under Albedo's rule," Naruto mused aloud. "Color me shocked, you figured that out by yourself," Kurama snarked. "Hey, I'm not just brawn. I ran the most successful underground business in the Leaf. Wait." Naruto's eyes widened. "Shit." He stomped the ground, creating a spiderweb of cracks. "I left my whole operation behind, my crew, my empire. Some idiot is probably trying to take my spot." His fury manifested in a dark red aura, surging chaotically around him. "Well, that's on you for not leaving a contingency plan," Kurama said, lounging lazily. "Yeah, rookie mistake. I'll fix it once I figure out how to leave this place." They pressed on, unaware of the hooded figure watching them from above. That aura, a demonic dragon's essence. Powerful and refined. "I need to inform Brutus-sama immediately." The figure vanished into a black portal, his mission in Inferno Hell complete. The town bustled with activity, demons of every shape and size mingling in peace. The streets were vibrant and alive, clearly kept in line by the looming presence of their queen's tower. Naruto's eyes landed on a flashy building. "Strip club," he grinned wide. "This'll be the perfect place to gather intel." "Kurama, we're taking this place over." "And how, exactly?" Kurama rolled his eyes at the glowing sign of red lips and flashing lights. A massive red-skinned demon in a black tux stepped in front of them. "You on the list?" he asked, flipping through a clipboard. "Why don't you check?" Naruto replied casually. "Name, Uzumaki Naruto, and Kurama." The bouncer flipped through the pages, confused. "Not listed, damn it, those morons." He stormed inside. By the time he returned, Naruto and a now sheep-sized Kurama had already slipped in. "This place is incredible," Naruto said, eyes wide at the lights, the dancing, the music, and the alluring demons performing on stage. The music blared, and voices echoed drunkenly through the chaos. "I doubt we'll get anything useful out of these trashed fiends," Kurama muttered, tone drenched in boredom. He wondered again why he was even tagging along with Naruto. "Nonsense, to the bar," Naruto declared, strolling confidently toward a bar crafted from obsidian stone and cushioned with velvet seats. "Let's chat, demon fellow," he said smoothly. "What do you want?" asked the bartender, a blue-skinned man in a slick black suit. "What's hell like?" Naruto asked directly, wasting no time. Beating around the bush wouldn't get him anywhere. The bartender blinked his pitch-black eyes before laughing heartily. "Name's Dayar, you new down here, kid?" "Yeah," Naruto nodded, sipping the drink Dayar placed in front of him. "This is the Netherrealm. It's basically home for us down here, regular lives, demonic routines. Demons are born here, humans get sent down when they die." Dayar paused to make sure Naruto and Kurama were still with him. "You saw that giant obsidian tower in the middle of infernal hell, right? That's the Tower of the Nine Rings." Naruto and Kurama froze. This place kept shocking them again and again. But Naruto had a pressing question. Can a demon be born in that tower? The sly grin on Dayar's face was answer enough. "Sure can, those are tower-born demons. Strength depends on which floor they came from. The ones from the ninth ring, they're monsters. The first floor spawns the weakest." "How powerful are we talking?" Naruto asked with a glint of ambition in his eyes, a throne of bone beneath him, demons kneeling. That was the future he saw. The demons from floor 7 and up could wipe out that planet you came from. "Earth, right." Dayar's tone was low. He'd only heard of Earth through tales passed by travelers who escaped death by the Slayers, rare survivors at that. Kurama remained calm, knowing full well he could have erased Earth himself. Naruto, however, felt a tremor crawl up his spine. Albedo controlling such creatures was a terrifying realization. "Thanks. Got another question," Naruto started. "This one'll cost ya," Dayar grinned, rubbing his fingers together. "Well, you too," boomed a voice. A massive demon was storming toward them. "Out now," Naruto smirked. "Just about to earn my coin," he said to Dayar. Then a massive hand gripped his collar, yanking him upward. "Oh no you don't." Naruto smacked the hand away, expression dark. "You just signed your death warrant." A sinister aura bled out around him, and his once human eyes turned crimson with slitted black pupils. The entire club froze as dread swept through the room. "Gee damn upstarts. You need a reminder of the hierarchy." The bouncer rolled up his sleeves and dropped his jacket. "Ray, they're fresh," Dayar called, but the demon ignored him. "I don't care. I'm ending him." "Then try it," Naruto said, voice cold, energy crackling as he welcomed the impending clash. Ray barreled toward him, roaring like a beast. In his palm, fire gathered a spell called Gerzak, one of the lower-tier flames but still lethal. Naruto's demonic instincts surged, his eyes, the Magan, activating on their own. In an instant, he deconstructed the fire spell to its raw essence. Without knowing how, his hand mirrored the flame perfectly. Their powers collided, thunder crashing through the street, and Ray was hurled backward, smashing into a wall. Blood gushed from his mouth as terror took hold. "You never had a chance. Not even fate could save you," Naruto said, stepping forward and unsheathing a gleaming silver blade. He aimed for Ray's skull. Please don't," Ray sobbed. Naruto's eyes glinted with bloodlust. No, with a swift slash he beheaded Ray. The club fell silent. Murder. In direct defiance of the club's one unbreakable rule. Ray's soul began to rise, but Naruto instinctively coated his hand in energy, snatched the soul, and devoured it whole. "What the hell's going on?" A booming voice roared from the hallway. Everyone turned to see the club's manager. Medium build, black hair veiling one eye, skin covered in intricate tattoos. Red pupils glowed from inky black sclera. He wore no shirt, just baggy pants, steel-padded knees, and black-taped feet. "Magato-sama," they cried, all bowing low. Balo Magato, the club's feared owner. His eyes locked onto Naruto and Kurama, both of whom remained unimpressed. Then he noticed Ray's lifeless corpse, and the blood coating Naruto's sword. "This kid, he's too powerful for a newborn demon," Balo thought. "Nice joint you've got," Naruto said, wiping his sword on Ray's body. "Be even better under my control." Balo's eye twitched. Ambitious and dangerous, a deadly mix. He made the first move, charging forward with an enhanced version of Gerzak blazing in his hand. Naruto's gaze turned deadly. The glyph of destruction formed in his eyes. Instinct fed him a new spell. He analyzed the magic flow, deciphering it as if it were written in code. Explosion vision, he whispered. And Balo's flame vanished, extinguished by Naruto's very presence. Eyes wide in shock, Balo couldn't stop his momentum. That's when he felt it, Naruto's hand piercing through his chest, fingers crushing his heart like glass. Blood sprayed as Balo dropped to his knees. Naruto punched him off his arm with a brutal swing. Gasping, Balo barely registered the hole in his chest before Naruto's boot came crashing down on his face. Got any last words? Naruto asked with a grin. Balo opened his mouth but don't care. Naruto stomped again, and again, and again. Crunch. Blood gushed like a broken pipe as Balo's head was flattened into a splatter of gore on the floor. Sky so vividly blue it seemed to stretch on forever, a boundless canvas above. Gentle white clouds drifted through it with practiced grace. At the edge of the horizon, a golden sun peeked over, casting its radiant light across the expanse. Much like the towering structure in the depths of hell, a grand spire stood proudly at the heart of this realm. Unlike its hellish counterpart, this one gleamed a pristine white, radiating sacred energy. It was elegant, almost regal, an immaculate tower blessed with divine magic. What made this realm particularly strange was the ground. It wasn't made of grass or dirt. Instead, it was composed entirely of soft, fluffy clouds. Walking along this ethereal terrain were humans, beasts, and monsters alike. The structures here were forged from luxurious, masterfully carved stones, bricks, and rare metals, as if only master artisans had crafted them. Above, winged figures glided effortlessly through the sky, their large white wings spread wide. Each bore different weapons across their backs. One such figure darted urgently through the air, a look of alarm etched into his face. His long golden hair whipped in the wind, his robe pure white trimmed in soft blue. A glowing halo floated just above his head. Beads of sweat ran down his tan skin. This was not ordinary news he carried. This was Michael, the Archangel God's left hand. A being forged directly from divine energy, Michael had served faithfully for eons, carrying out God's will, even if it meant annihilating entire realities. Now he raced toward a massive golden citadel in the distance, where divine matters were settled. With another beat of his wings, he surged ahead. XXX Michael now knelt on a crimson carpet some distance from a throne raised on high steps. Seated on the throne was a man clad in golden robes, adorned with jewels and intricate symbols. The blinding radiance of the sun hid his face from view. The only visible feature was his silver hair, which fell just past his shoulders. But most striking were the black and gray horns resting atop his head, like a twisted crown. This was the Almighty. "My lord, I bring dire news." Michael's voice quivered as he spoke, his form trembling. God raised a hand dismissively. "Speak, Michael, you look as though you've seen your end." His voice was unnervingly calm, almost hollow. "It concerns the prophesied one." Michael's tone was unsteady. HMPH, has he finally turned? Have his loved ones reached him at last? Michael hesitated. That alone was enough to shift the tone in the throne room. "What is it, Michael?" God asked again, more firmly this time. "The truth, my lord. Naruto Uzumaki has fallen." God blinked slowly. "Then revive him, use a phoenix tear, it should be a trivial matter." "That's just it, lord. His soul didn't stay here. It was sent," Michael swallowed, "to hell." In an instant, divine power surged through the throne room. The air shimmered gold as all of heaven began to quake. Eternity itself trembled beneath the wrath of its creator. "I will return," God said coldly, standing. With a snap of his fingers, the trembling ceased as the divine realm healed itself. Tearing through the fabric of space, he stepped into a glowing rift. The portal sealed shut behind him. Hell Albedo lounged upon her throne, observing the pathetic human before her who wept in disbelief. "What do you mean this is hell? This pendant, it was supposed to protect me from creatures like you." The man cried, holding up a cross. Albedo snorted. "You really thought that trinket would shield you from me, the devil herself?" She laughed, a dark, mocking sound that echoed through the room. Clearly, someone had been spreading foolish myths on Earth again. Perhaps one of the demons from the seventh tower, always stirring chaos on their little excursions. The last time one left, it founded a cursed realm known as the Land of Demons. That dragon had crossed divine avatars and paid the ultimate price. A waste, really, he had power. Suddenly, space split open, and a familiar figure emerged. The sheer divine force wiped the human from existence instantly. "Oops, you just wiped out one of your precious humans," Albedo teased, covering her mouth dramatically, eyes alight with mischief. "I couldn't care less," God said coldly. "He was filth. Nothing more." Beside her, the Dark Knight stepped forward, battle axe raised, dark purple energy swirling like a nebula around him. His role was clear, he protected his queen always. If this realm disgusts you so much, why show your divine face here? Albedo asked, her smile predatory. You know why I've come. Where is the boy? Tapping a finger on her chin in mock thought, she rocked back and forth before her lips curled into a cruel, twisted smile that oozed malice. Her demonic energy surged so violently that all of hell began to convulse with unholy desire. He's mine. The declaration triggered something deep in God. That grin, it reminded him of his fallen brother. But more than that, she had taken the one he himself had blessed, and surely turned him into something vile. As the glow from his silvery bangs faded, God's face came into view, regal, impossibly handsome, flawless. His eyes now fully revealed, white sclera, glowing golden pupils, and swirling irises that seemed to hold infinite magic. These were the magic eyes of creation, the opposite of Naruto's destructive gaze. Only a handful had ever wielded them, and none as powerfully as God. Now enraged, God moved, and in a blink he was in front of Albedo, but between them stood the Dark Knight, visibly straining under divine pressure. You won't touch my queen, the knight growled. He surged forward, forcing God to retreat a step. Insignificant, God muttered. His eyes flared green as he swiped his hand, splitting space and time. He seized the knight mid-charge. Trash! With a single thrust, God plunged his hand through the knight's chest and emerged from his back, holding a glowing sphere, the knight's very source. The essence of life, the soul's foundation. Untouchable by normal means, yet God's grip crushed it easily. The knight howled in agony, clawing helplessly at the void where his heart once was. Rio Aerith, a sudden blast of purple magic slammed into God, launching him out of the castle. Albedo caught the knight's source and gently returned it to his chest, using ancient spells to repair the damage. Bastard, she hissed, flying after him through the breach. XXX outside, God hovered midair, utterly unfazed. Where is the boy? He asked again. Albedo's smirk returned. He's enjoying himself. A celestial being suddenly turned and flew towards the depths of Inferno Abyss. Astrea, swift as lightning, pursued him closely. Her jet-black wings flapped powerfully as she appeared before the celestial figure, casting a spell almost instantly. Velcora. Astrea gripped the figure by his face, sending him hurtling back to the realm of the divine. That took more magic than I thought. I should have relied on my arcane vision, though I'm not the best at it, Astrea muttered, flying back to her domain with a heavy sigh. On the ground below, onlookers watched in stunned silence. Those old enough to recall tales recognized who the figure was. It was the god. But why was he here? He seemed furious. Naruto-kun better be careful, or he'll end up back with the stuck-up elites in heaven. A tight ache in her chest lingered. Despite her physical encounters with Naruto, it was never love. Astrea had pursued him since he was foretold to be the chosen one, a person who could anger the divine, just as she desired. But there was no way that she, the queen of the abyss, would fall for him. XXX later hours had passed since Naruto claimed control of the club by eliminating its owner. The establishment had become a chaotic scene, a never-ending party. Nothing entertained the residents of the abyss more than a good bloody battle. Demons, in their nature, were chaotic and brutal. Survival meant standing at the top, and the weak perished daily. It was simply the way things worked in the abyss. At that moment, it seemed not all demons approved of Naruto's takeover. One such demon, with long disheveled azure hair and a sickly grin, was making his way to the town lord. His pale skin made his blue hair stand out even more. He approached the large wooden doors, guarded by Hell's Knights, and crossed the crimson grass of the courtyard, until he found someone training with a sword, bare-chested. Zarian, what brings you here? This better be important. The newcomer, now known as Zarian, knelt before the figure. Lord Rorik, Ballo has been slain, and another demon has taken his place. Rorik's intense amber gaze pierced Zarian as his dark skin contorted with rage. Is this a lie? I would never deceive you, Lord Rorik, Zarian replied, bowing deeper. Rorik ran a hand through his dark, untamed hair. I'll ensure this impostor meets a painful end, in the name of Rorik Drakenfeld, he declared, his grin deadly. XXX back at the newly claimed strip club, Naruto stirred awake, a sudden urge for battle rising within him. He scanned the room and saw a woman lying beside him. Her tan skin and long, multicolored hair sprawled across the bed, decorated with tattoos. The marks on her shoulders and thighs stood out, but what caught his eye was her body, covered with faint bite marks. Who is this woman? Naruto asked aloud, his memories rushing back. She was Ballo's lover, and after witnessing his demise, she had become infatuated with Naruto's power. They had spent the night together in a passionate and unrestrained encounter, one that Naruto thoroughly enjoyed, unbound by any prior restrictions. Quite a tight figure, Naruto mused, stretching and standing up. He was naked, his clothes lying discarded in the corner of the room. The woman stirred and mumbled, still half asleep. Her name's Kara, Naruto remembered. Yes. Kara's eyes fluttered open, revealing red pupils that gleamed with too much desire. Just wanted to thank you for last night, Naruto said with a smirk as he dressed and headed out. Kara lazily turned back over. The pleasure was mine, she whispered, sinking back into sleep. Naruto descended the spiral stairs, entering the bustling club. There, he spotted a familiar orange fox, Kurama, conversing with his companion Diyu at the bar. Kurama, where have you been? Kurama turned to face Naruto, noticing the lingering scent of the night before. His skin-tight red shirt, stained with patches of dried blood, matched his black cargo pants. I've been gathering some intel. Nice. I got a little distracted myself, Naruto grinned, stretching. If I were you, I'd run. Diyu spoke as he placed a drink in front of Naruto, who downed it in one gulp. Why's that? Naruto asked. Balo wasn't just any club owner. He was a servant to one of the ancient families of the Abyss, Diyu explained, noticing Naruto's puzzled look. The ancient families are the oldest factions in the Abyss. Through countless wars, they fought for control of everything, territory, wealth, influence, you name it. Naruto paused, processing the information. Sounds like the clans from my old village. Exactly, Diyu nodded. Only these families were on a different level. They didn't stop fighting until one of them crushed the rest. That family was the Drakenfelds, also known as the Dragons. Inside Naruto, a surge of pride welled up as his arcane eyes activated, unrestrained by his excitement. The Drakenfeld family came in and annihilated the others. Led by the first dragon, Tiamat, they were ruthless and unstoppable. Diyu chuckled at the thought, wistful for the old days. What about the other families? Kurama asked. The fox, sensing the immense magical power radiating from Naruto, was curious about the other factions. There are 5 other families: the Drakenfelds, the Ravada, which were wolves, the Stormcrest, which were thunderbirds, the Nightshade, who were giant bears, the Inferna, fiery monkeys, and the Tiegan, which were hyenas, Diyu listed, offering a brief history. Naruto and Kurama exchanged looks, both intrigued by the history of these primordial families. 6 factions, each with its own bloodline and power. What a time it must have been. Thanks, Diyu, this clears up a lot, Naruto said, tossing a wad of money onto the counter. It was Balo's, but he wasn't around to spend it anymore. I've got one more question. Who's coming after me? Naruto asked. Diyu sighed. His name is Rorik Drakenfeld, the heir to one of the oldest families. You'd better run before it's too late. Across the club, a striking woman with long silver hair and a skin-tight suit observed the unfolding drama with a grin. She was enjoying the chaos, and if Naruto survived what was coming, she might just make her move. Just then someone familiar approached Naruto. Curtis, the man, dressed in lavish clothes and sporting a black eyebrow raised in question, looked at Naruto. How do you know my name? It's me, Naruto. Before Naruto could say more, a fist shot toward his face. Don't you dare lie about my master, Curtis shouted, ready to strike. Naruto smirked as recognition dawned. Curtis, my sister's Sakura Haruno, and my mother is Maybuki Haruno. I saved you from dying on the streets. Curtis froze. That was information only Naruto would know. His heart softened and he lowered his fist. Is it really you, Naruto-sama? Curtis asked, stunned. Yes, it's me, Naruto grinned. Oh, Naruto-sama, I'm so sorry, Curtis bowed low, remorse in his voice. No problem, Naruto chuckled. But how did you end up here? Curtis's expression darkened. It's been a month since you died and… Wait. It's already been a month. It's almost the end of the day here, Naruto interrupted, his face showing shock. Time moves slower here, by the way, Diyu casually added. Wow, so a month outside is barely a day in this place, Kurama said, his mouth slightly agape. A grin spread across Naruto's face. Just means I have more time to grow stronger and claim my throne as the Demon King. Naruto clenched his fist, his eyes once again shifting, now glowing with the magic eyes of destruction. Naruto-sama, do you truly wish to become the Demon King? Curtis asked, admiration evident in his tone. Naruto nodded in response. Then I shall aid you with everything I have. Naruto smiled, appreciating Curtis's loyalty. It was something he never grew tired of, but his curiosity about Curtis's past remained. By the way, how did you meet your end? Curtis's face darkened with anger. It was Flask. He took my life in our battle. Why were you fighting? Naruto inquired, brows furrowed. Curtis had always been a calm man, never one to challenge others lightly, so something must have triggered this confrontation. He was getting too close to the great lady, Curtis spat, the anger returning to his voice. Upon hearing this, Naruto stood up abruptly, fury flashing across his face. His magic flared up, intensifying. His eyes lit with power, causing the surroundings to shudder. The building itself seemed to quake under Naruto's might. Unfazed by the eruption of power, Kurama gave Naruto a swift smack on the head with one of his tails. "Cool it, idiot." The surge of power simmered down, but Naruto's rage was still evident. Within his chest, a cold fury burned bright, and he silently vowed to hunt down Flask the moment he got out of here. Curtis then noticed the large fox lounging nearby. "The nine-tailed beast," Curtis exclaimed in disbelief. Kurama lazily waved a tail. "Finally noticed me, huh?" Kurama responded dryly. "So you're a demon," Curtis said uncertain. "Sure, why not?" Kurama shrugged. "Naruto Uzumaki. Come outside this instant." A powerful voice boomed, floating in the air above the town. It was loud enough to be heard over the music in the background. "Perfect, someone for me to take my anger out on," Naruto muttered as he stood and walked toward the edge of Inferno City. A figure floated in the distance, watching him. Upon leaving the city, Naruto saw several figures floating near the individual in the sky. They all shared the same characteristics: dark skin and piercing yellow eyes. "Naruto Uzumaki, today is the day you die," Boris declared as he drew a massive sword from his back, noticeably different from the katana he had used earlier. He'd chosen this weapon to master a new form of combat. "And why exactly do I deserve to die?" Naruto asked, unsheathing his own katana. The blade gleamed under the blood-red sky, the gem at its hilt glowing with a dark purple hue. "For slaying one of my followers and taking what was never yours," Boris replied. His attire had shifted, his once tattered black kimono pants now paired with white boots. Everyone in his group had a similar look, marking their familial bond. Naruto studied the people surrounding him and Kurama. He had told Curtis to stay back and learn about hell from Diu. "I've seen this play before. They're planning to jump us," Naruto said with a laugh. "Kurama, want to join me in some fun?" "It seems like I have no choice. These pests want to take me out too," Kurama growled, his fangs bared as a red aura enveloped his body. "We are members of the new Hikari family, one of Hell's founding primordial clans. Remember that name. It will be the last you ever hear." Boris grinned menacingly, magic swirling around his sword. How'd he do that to his sword? "Can I do that too?" Naruto muttered, sending his own magic into his blade, which flared purple. The dragon engraved on the sword vibrated with power. "Looks like she's ready," Naruto noted, focusing on his opponent. "Come on then, come at me, I don't have all day," Naruto taunted, a cocky grin on his face. Without hesitation, the new Hikari family charged, laughter echoing in their wake as they rushed toward Naruto and Kurama. Naruto swung his sword wildly, attacking with punches, kicks, and even biting with his canine teeth. His chaotic assault landed several hits and cuts, but none were decisive. Kurama, however, had it easy. One swipe of his tail was enough to obliterate anyone unlucky enough to get too close. His claws and fangs tore through enemies like they were nothing. Naruto delivered a punch that shattered one opponent's jaw. That was when he felt the sharp sting of something tearing into his back. He spun around to find that his attacker had shifted into a four-legged creature, dark fur and wild, spotty patterns covering its form. It was a hyena in its true shape. The creature grinned at him with wild, yellow eyes, its laugh almost maniacal. "You're finished, fiend." Naruto merely scoffed as the wound on his back rapidly healed. With a swift slash of his blade, he attempted to cut the beast down, but his strike was dodged, and another hyena leapt from the side, slashing his face. From a distance, Boris observed, eyes glinting with amusement as his family's members hacked away at the arrogant boy. Kurama was dealing with his own problems, tearing through enemies like they were paper. Boris clenched his fist, conjuring a magical array in his hand. "Demon Quake!" Boris shouted, sending spikes of earth hurtling toward Naruto and Kurama. Naruto, distracted by the hyena biting his arm and the others swarming him, barely managed to react. He looked up just as the earth spikes neared, but Kurama was quick. He slapped one hyena aside with his paw before slamming his tail into the ground, causing a mini quake that destroyed the earth spikes in an instant. "This is getting annoying," Kurama muttered before his tails sliced through 9 more attackers. He turned to Naruto, noticing his struggles. Though they weren't exactly friends, Kurama didn't want Naruto to die, not yet anyway. It would leave him with nothing to do in this hell. Gathering chakra, Kurama unleashed a blazing orange torrent from his mouth, incinerating everything in its path and leaving nothing but a field of charred bodies and burning flesh. But Naruto was reaching his breaking point. This was reminding him of how he had died before, surrounded by enemies, beaten to death. He refused to accept that fate again. If it came to that, he would destroy it all. His magic eyes of destruction flared to life once more. The complex kanji of destruction enveloped his irises. His fury was palpable, felt by all who watched. The pile of hyenas on him suddenly began to convulse before bursting apart in a shower of red rain. They were obliterated, completely erased by Naruto's power. Instinctively, Naruto opened his mouth, and glowing orbs of light began to rise from the bodies of the fallen, rushing toward him like moths to a flame. "Your turn," Naruto growled, pointing a blood-stained finger at Boris, a grin spreading across his face. Boris's eyes widened in shock, trembling in disbelief. What? How is he absorbing their energy and souls so quickly? His power, it's growing with every breath. "Don't think that will stop me," Boris yelled, holding his sword up to block Naruto's next attack. "Don't care," Naruto retorted, rocking the man's jaw with a brutal right hook. He followed up with an onslaught of punches that landed with the force of boulders. Under the relentless blows of Naruto, Boris found himself struggling to think, move, or do anything at all. Naruto's attacks came with unwavering persistence, but it was a final strike that sent Boris tumbling backward, landing 5 meters away. Blood trickled from his mouth as he glared with defiance. "You cur. I am of royal blood." "Sounds like whining to me," Naruto sneered. "You've done nothing but cry this whole time." Boris snarled, his fury rising at Naruto's disrespectful tone. Magic surged within him, glowing a fiery orange as he raised his hand to summon dark clouds in the sky. "Storm surge," he cried. From the clouds above, enormous boulders rained down toward Naruto and Kurama. An advanced earth spell passed down through his clan. Naruto sprinted, dodging each massive rock that threatened to crush him. Once the assault subsided, the ground was wrecked, giant craters scattered across the desolate town. The boulders had settled in the ruins, offering some cover. Naruto leaped atop one of the boulders, spotting Boris panting heavily from the effort. "This is my shot," he muttered under his breath. Raising his hand, Naruto channeled all the magic he could into his next attack. The spell Grezd erupted from his palm, the flames crackling with a strange purple hue, charging toward Boris like a beast unleashed. Boris's eyes widened as the attack closed in, a chill of impending doom creeping up his spine. "This can't be. How is he outdoing me? I've trained for years." Boris roared, gathering his own magic to retaliate. He condensed it into a sphere of concentrated power, large enough to match Naruto's assault. With a guttural roar, he hurled the magic ball toward Naruto. Naruto grinned as he felt the battle shift in his favor. There was no way Boris could stop him now. The two attacks collided in a tremendous explosion, shockwaves rippling through the town as their powers clashed. Within moments, Naruto's fire cut through Boris's magic as though it were tissue paper. The devastating force pushed Boris to despair. His final scream of agony was drowned as the flames consumed his body. When the chaos settled, Naruto calmly walked over to retrieve his blade, which remained unscathed. Tapping it against his bare shoulder, his shirt having been torn off in the battle, he smirked as his black boots made a soft jingle with every step, an eerie sound that seemed to echo death itself. Approaching Boris's broken body, Naruto observed the gruesome scene. The man was missing an arm and leg, blood pouring from his wounds, and his charred skin reeked with the stench of burning flesh. "Hope you enjoyed your time," Naruto said coldly, placing the blade against Boris's throat. "Because it's over now." Boris let out a weak, defiant chuckle before coughing up blood. "If you kill me, my father will avenge me." Naruto's smirk deepened. "Then I'll kill him and his whole family." Boris, despite his weakened state, spat out with all his remaining strength, "A weakling like you could never defeat my father." "This same weakling, who's about to kill you," Naruto responded as he drove the blade into Boris's chest. The man screamed in agony. "Stop!" Another strike silenced Boris's pleas as Naruto shoved the blade deeper. "Die already," Naruto growled, slamming the sword down once more, severing the man's head. As with the others he'd slain, a white sphere rose from Boris's corpse, drawn toward Naruto like it was being sucked in by an invisible force. He felt his energy surge as magic flooded through his body. This was the way of hell, devouring enemies to grow stronger. "That's not how you fight," a voice suddenly rang out. Naruto barely had time to react before a black sandal collided with his face, sending him crashing into the dirt. Dynamic entry. The single strike nearly cracked his skull. Kurama, watching in stunned silence, could barely register the speed of the attacker. Whoever this was, they were far stronger than either Naruto or Boris. And it seemed the fight was now his responsibility, until another kick sent Kurama flying through the air, crashing to the ground. Come on, don't tell me you two are done already. A woman's voice called out, dripping with eagerness for the fight. Naruto, still recovering from the blow, wiped the blood from his head. His gaze fell on the woman who had kicked him. She was striking, a beauty, with flowing white hair that resembled his old appearance. Her electric blue eyes held an aura of terror, and her armor, resembling that of an ancient samurai, only added to her intimidating presence. "What's your deal, lady?" Naruto snapped, rage boiling in his chest. "Did I put on my armor for nothing?" The woman sighed with exaggerated disappointment before pointing a finger at Naruto. "You boy, you're coming with me as my student, along with that fox and your human friend." "I am not his pet," Kurama snarled from the side. Naruto eyed the woman closely, his thoughts racing. He needed a mentor, and while Diyu had been helpful with knowledge, he wasn't a fighter. This woman, on the other hand, seemed like someone he could really learn from, and she was undeniably attractive. A grin spread across his face. "Why not? I've got nothing to lose. Let's do this," Naruto agreed, his excitement rising. The woman's grin widened, her hair glowing a brilliant white. "That's the spirit. Let's begin your training." She moved to attack but halted. "Hold up, why me?" Naruto asked. "And who are you?" "Anamiti Arashi," the woman replied with pride. Naruto's eyes widened. "You're from the primordial family," he exclaimed. Then, shifting into a combat stance, he added, "Here for revenge." "Ha, I was going to take care of that brat myself if he showed up here," she replied with a scoff before grinning again. "Yeah, he was a real pain," Naruto agreed, thinking back to his battle with Boris. Anamich's expression grew serious. "I wanted to test you. You have the potential to be the strongest. It wouldn't do for someone like you to fall into the wrong hands." Naruto raised an eyebrow. "I see. My power is huge. Yeah, it'd be a real disaster if a madman used me for their own gain." Kurama, watching from the sidelines, sighed. "He's not all there, is he?" Anamichi chuckled. "You're in hell, kid, that's how it goes." Then, with a smile, she added, "Now, let's get started. You've got years of hellish training ahead of you." With a single flap of her wings, she disappeared into a blue portal, grabbing Curtis by the neck and tossing him in after her. The years ahead would be the most exhilarating she had experienced in millennia. Chaos would spread, bodies would fall, and things were only getting started. "I can't believe it's been 2 millennia since I was last here. It feels like it was just yesterday I set off on my journey." The figure speaking wore a dark coat with high collars, tattered at the bottom, while silver pauldrons made from a rare metal rested on his shoulders. Beneath the coat, he wore a white, black, and red shirt that clung perfectly to his well-built frame. Fingerless black gloves adorned his hands, leaving the backs of his palms exposed, with small metallic pieces on the knuckles. His black hair fell messily, partially covering his face. His pants were the same color as his coat, tucked into knee-high black boots, and he sported a black belt with a large silver buckle shaped like a circle. "Has it really been that long, master?" a familiar voice asked. Curtis, unchanged since his arrival in Hell, spoke with the same calm demeanor. Since obtaining immortality in the second circle of Hell, Curtis had not aged a day. His long black hair cascaded down his back, neatly tied at the top. Curtis was dressed in a black battle robe, fastened by a black obi and a red string. The robe was adorned with golden pieces resembling scales, placed on his shoulders, chest, and along the bottom. His black boots were tucked into black pants, and a golden chain hung from his waist, where he carried a demonic blade named Omen. Omen was forged in Hell's fiery depths, crafted from the scales of Naruto's dragon form. The blade itself was as dark as the abyss, with a golden flow of magic running down its middle. The crossguard was a black, intricate design, with a glowing golden gem at its center. The hilt spiraled vertically, with a matching black pommel. Naruto turned his piercing black and red eyes to Curtis. "Yes, I appreciate your loyalty, Curtis." The man bowed low. "Anything for you, master," he responded respectfully. Naruto chuckled. "I haven't claimed the throne just yet. Don't jinx me." His voice grew more serious as he gazed at the towering metal doors in front of them. "But it will be mine soon enough." His tone was sharp, full of determination. Magic flared, swirling around him in a fierce red aura. As Naruto approached, the doors vanished in an instant, unable to withstand his presence. The entire castle shook as the raw force of his mana flooded the air. In Hell, and across all 9 circles, beings bowed in reverence to Naruto, the future Demon King. He walked down the lavish hallways, which cracked and crumbled as his power passed over them. Even the guards, usually prepared to attack anyone with such overwhelming energy, were pinned to the walls, avoiding his gaze as Naruto strode forward with absolute confidence. Curtis followed silently, content to be at his side. Naruto moved through the castle, using his senses to locate his future queen. He smirked, imagining his other companions watching this unfold, likely on some massive screen back home. They would be treated to a grand spectacle, and not just of this fight. Finally, he entered the throne room. There, sitting gracefully on her throne, was Albedo, but instead of her usual white dress, she now wore armor darker than night itself. Despite the armor, she exuded the same seductive aura, her curves accentuated by the sleek material hugging her body. Black feathered wings rested behind her, and she smiled alluringly at Naruto. Can't wait to get my hands on her, Naruto thought, a confident smirk playing on his lips. It seemed this wouldn't be an easy fight, though. Albedo, with her prideful stance, was ready for battle as well. Ara, you want me that much, don't you? Albedo's voice was a melodic tease as she ran a hand sensually over her armored form. I can still hear your thoughts, Naruto-kun. I let you in, Naruto replied boldly. It's only fair that you know what awaits you once this is over. You naughty boy, Albedo teased, her smile widening. You've caused me no end of trouble. She gestured at Naruto, who was now surrounded by a purple aura, his magic growing stronger. Such weak magic, he commented nonchalantly. I could eat that for breakfast. He patted his stomach with a grin. And chaos is my fuel. After all, hell is built on chaos. Albedo's smile only grew. She wasn't intimidated. Is that so? But enough talk. You came for the throne, didn't you? She beckoned him with a finger. Come and take it. With a flash of purple magic, a massive black battle axe materialized in her hands, adorned with glowing runes along its edge. This is black love, Albedo stated with a gleam in her eye. Naruto's smirk deepened as his own weapon appeared in his grasp. The dragon blade, forged from the bones of his slain enemy long ago, shimmered in his hands. It had seen countless battles, and it would face another today. In an instant, Darkmoor appeared before Naruto, swinging his own axe toward him. Naruto ignored the attack, focusing solely on Albedo's golden eyes. Suddenly, Curtis was there, effortlessly blocking Darkmoor's assault. You won't interfere with my lord, Curtis stated, his punch sending Darkmoor crashing through the castle roof. Don't take too long, Curtis, Naruto called out, closing his eyes. I'll finish this in, let's say 6 minutes. He smiled confidently. Understood, my lord, Curtis replied, blasting off after his opponent. Albedo watched the exchange with some surprise, but her focus remained on Naruto. She moved with a blur, appearing behind him at speeds so fast that space seemed to warp around her. Time slowed, the room freezing as she stabbed Naruto in the back with a dagger of pure darkness. I should be the one saying that to you, Naruto murmured, unfazed by the stab wound. He slowly opened his eyes. A surge of power erupted from him, blasting Albedo back. He pulled the dagger from his heart and turned to face her. His eyes burned with an intense, dark energy. Albedo's eyes widened. The eyes of chaotic destruction. She gasped as the overwhelming magic filled the room. The very foundation of hell seemed to tremble. Naruto's smile deepened. These eyes are more controlled than the last bearer's, making me even stronger. He took a step forward, his presence dominating the room. Now let's see if you can keep up. With a clash of sword and axe, their battle began in full. Gynoves! Albedo unleashed a surge of dark lightning towards Naruto, her magic aiming to bind him and drain his energy while causing immense pain. Origin magic, huh? Interesting. I'll return the favor. Naruto's eyes gleamed with a deep, intense purple as his abyssal magic surged violently. Raviagig Gavarized. Naruto summoned a devastating spell of his own. 10 glowing magic circles appeared behind him, crackling with purple lightning. They interlocked, forming a massive magical array that unleashed a torrent of furious energy. The lightning arced through the air, creating an explosion that obliterated everything in its path, shaking the very foundation beneath them. The two magical forces collided, creating an explosion that split the ground miles below. Despite Albedo's effort to protect herself with a barrier, Naruto's attack continued to surge forward, crashing into her shield and forcing it to shatter under the immense power. She screamed as the magic hit her full force. Naruto appeared above her, fist raised, and his voice rang out with a mix of confidence and mockery. Let's see how well you can recover from this. With a swift motion, Naruto struck Albedo with a powerful blow, sending her crashing into the ground below, creating a massive crater. The earth cracked and splintered from the impact. Albedo climbed out of the rubble, blood dripping from her body, her armor in tatters. She stood defiantly, a determined glint in her eyes despite the damage. You're stronger than I thought, she said, catching her breath. But this isn't over yet. Just 15 seconds left, Naruto said, his tone playful but still carrying an edge. Let's finish this. Albedo chanted a healing spell, her magic struggling to mend her wounds. It wasn't enough to fully heal her, and when she peered into Naruto's abyssal eyes, she realized that his magic reserves were limitless. "You really are a cheat code," she laughed darkly. "No one should possess such power." With only seconds left, they charged at each other, exchanging blows, spells, and relentless attacks. It was a battle of endurance and willpower as the fight intensified. Naruto's skill and power pushed Albedo to her limits, but she fought back fiercely, using every ounce of her strength to hold her ground. When the battle finally slowed, the two stood facing each other, Albedo on the ground, exhausted and battered, while Naruto remained largely unscathed. Blood dripped from his lips, his coat torn from the ferocity of the battle. "Zero," Naruto said, holding his dragon blade at her neck. "I win," Albedo sighed, a mix of admiration and frustration in her voice. "You're a monster, but a worthy opponent." Naruto smirked, pulling her up and into his arms. "It was a good fight, but it's not over yet." Naruto nodded and moved cautiously. He sat on the bench, his formidable power subtly hovering just beneath his skin. The elder observed Naruto, raising an eyebrow. "A force driven by destruction, huh? Your bond with destruction surpasses even mine. Impressive." He gave Naruto a hearty pat on the back. "Who exactly are you? I can only guess you're—" Naruto started, but was quickly interrupted. "Albedo's father, that's me," the older man declared with pride, a grin spreading across his face. "Figured as much. The resemblance is uncanny," Naruto replied with a nod. "Ah, my little girl," the man said, a nostalgic smile forming. "I watched your fight earlier. Your strength is worthy of the title, but—" His voice shifted, no longer as carefree. "It still won't be enough to take down the big guy," he said, referring to the creator. "So, you're the Black Dragon Lucifer, the brother of God, the White Dragon," Naruto said, connecting the dots. "Sharp kid. I am Lucifer, creator of Hell, the first demon king," he proclaimed with immense pride. "But you're dead. I can feel it in your essence. It's flickering in and out of existence," Naruto remarked, his magic sight detecting the unstable energy within Lucifer's source. "Indeed, I'm no longer alive," Lucifer admitted, his smile tinged with sadness. "This is just a fragment of my source waiting for you." "Waiting for me?" Naruto questioned, intrigued. "Yes. You see, I grew too greedy for power and attempted to overthrow the creator. The one who created you and God." "Exactly. Turns out, they're on a level above us all," Lucifer said with a helpless shrug. "I've heard tales of how powerful they are, capable of creating everything and wiping it all away at will." Naruto was taken aback by the revelation. "That's an unimaginable amount of power. We'll dive deeper into that later. But now, it's about you and my daughter, son-in-law." Lucifer's tone shifted, becoming dead serious. "You'd better keep my little girl happy, or I'll be forced to take action." Naruto wiped the sweat from his brow as his heartbeat quickened. "Why, yes, sir," he stammered, saluting. Lucifer grinned and clapped him on the shoulder. "That's my boy, now let's talk about some nonsense." Hell was a place of constant turmoil, with battles waging on the sixth tower. The only temporary ceasefire came when Naruto defeated the Demon Lord and made her his partner. Even Inferno City had a strange calm. Demons from all levels of hell had gathered in front of Naruto's palace, watching eagerly. For those who couldn't be there in person, magical artifacts allowed them to follow along in real time. "You'll be fine, don't stress," Albedo reassured, patting Naruto's chest with a warm smile. They were about to step onto the balcony and announce him as the new Demon King. "If you could survive a chat with my father, you'll handle this just fine." Albedo had changed into her signature white dress for the occasion. Naruto had shared the details of his meeting with Lucifer, describing him as a surprisingly likable guy. Lucifer had shared his desire to be free from the constraints of sin, seeking nothing but personal liberty. "You beat both sides of my war with ease. This'll be a breeze for you," Oda Nobunaga, soon to be Leviathan, the demon lord of the sixth layer of hell, chimed in. Oda was tall and slender, with a fiery crimson mane that drew the eye. Her sharp, slitted eyes mirrored the color of her hair, carrying a dangerous and seductive allure. She was now dressed in a black gown, paired with a ruby necklace, black heels, and stockings, though still shorter than Naruto. She planted a kiss on his cheek, leaving a red lipstick mark that briefly sizzled. "Thanks, Oda-chan," Naruto said, smiling at his lover. "My pleasure, Naruto-kun," Oda replied softly, her usual fierce demeanor replaced with a rare gentleness. "Let's get this over with, I've got some business to take care of." A voice rang from the entrance. "Took you long enough. I was starting to think you'd miss the big day," Naruto teased. "She almost did, but I had to drag her here before that pervy toad got his hands on her," another woman remarked, swatting the other playfully. "We're sorry, Asuma-sama," The blonde woman's companion bowed humbly. Tsunade-chan. Good to see you, Oda said, walking over to embrace her. Tsunade Senju, one of Naruto's partners, had once been human but was now a demonic dragon like Naruto. She had encountered him after he returned to Earth and healed him following a fierce battle with demon hunters. To show his gratitude, Naruto had kissed her. The kiss turned into a punch to the face, but it sparked the beginning of their bond. Since then, they had fought side by side against demon hunters. And it's always a pleasure to see you, Asuma-chan. How's the army doing? Naruto inquired, turning to Asuma, who wore a silver dress and a white fur stole. Asuma, the demon from the second layer of hell and leader of Naruto's first army, smirked. They're ready to support you, my lord. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. She kissed him softly on the lips before stepping back. It's time. Now that we're all gathered, let's go out there and make this official, Albedo said, adjusting Naruto's black coat. Tsunade-chan, get changed. We can't have our husband looking shabby today. Tsunade rolled her eyes but snapped her fingers. A magic circle engulfed her and Shizune, transforming their clothes into elegant gowns matching the others. Happy now? Very, Naruto replied, nodding at Shizune. How's the plan going, little Shizune? She smiled and bowed. Everything's going great, my lord. Word of the Demon King's arrival is already spreading. Your followers are growing. All women, Tsunade scoffed, crossing her arms beneath her ample chest. You sound jealous, Naruto teased. Tsunade's face turned red. It doesn't matter, they're just a bunch of horny demons trying to get a piece. We're your mates, not them. Albedo, Oda, and Asuma smiled knowingly. All right, let's go, Albedo said, grabbing Naruto's arm as they made their way out. The roar of applause was deafening as the demons cheered. They erupted with excitement as Naruto, accompanied by his lovers, appeared on the balcony. Naruto-sama, you're my hero, a child shouted from the crowd, gazing up at him with admiration. Marry me, another demon screamed, hearts in her eyes. My lord, you look amazing, Curtis cried, tears of joy streaming down his face. To think he really did it, a tall, wild-haired man next to Curtis remarked. His fox-like eyes and whisker marks made him stand out. His outfit, a Haori revealing his sculpted body, a red sash with a fox head symbol and boots, made him look like a force to be reckoned with. I told you not to underestimate my lord. He's the greatest. Curtis defended Naruto, his passion clear. Yeah, just a little brat, Kurama muttered, scratching his head with one of his 9 tails. He and Naruto had traveled hell for centuries before parting ways on the 7th floor. Kurama had stayed behind with the Fox clan, seeking strength. Take that back, Curtis yelled, rushing at Kurama, who swatted him away effortlessly. Curtis was sent flying, crying out, My lord, Kurama simply chuckled. That brat wouldn't be anything without me. I trained him from the start, Anamiti boasted, pride in her voice. Back on the balcony, Naruto surveyed the crowd, a smirk playing on his lips. Despite his usual confidence, there was a moment of overwhelming joy as he realized how far he'd come. These are your people, Albedo's voice broke his thoughts. They'll follow you no matter what, they believe in you. I won't let them down, Naruto vowed, determination flashing in his eyes. Now, Tsunade spoke up, wrapping her arms around Naruto's neck. I think it's time to entertain your mates. This is a big moment. Naruto's smirk widened as they headed inside. He playfully swatted Tsunade's behind, making her yelp. I think you're right. Oh, let's break in the new bed, Asuma exclaimed eagerly. I guess I can indulge, Oda said, swaying toward the bed and letting her dress fall off. Shizune, excusing herself, left before things got out of hand. Last time she had been sore for days, but it had certainly felt good. You already had your way with me last night. Is one not enough for you? Albedo asked, already shedding her dress as juices ran down her legs. None of you will be leaving this room for a few days, Naruto stated coldly before taking control, claiming the woman who had always held a special place in his heart. Heaven the divine ruler sat upon his throne, unease washing over him. Something felt off, something had happened that shouldn't have. It was likely tied to the child of prophecy. It had been 2 millennia since his last visit to that realm, and there had been no sign of Naruto Uzumaki. This absence was starting to interfere with the grand plans for the world, but there were unsettling reports from hell. Demons were causing an unprecedented uproar, and such unrest was rare for a place already in chaos. This could lead to war between the realms. After all, the demons had already lost the last great conflict. If the situation escalated, he'd have to act swiftly to protect his interests. Your Grace, I bring troubling news. The silver-haired deity sighed, face-palming. What is it now, Michael? The beings you created have chosen a new leader. Michael said with barely contained fury in his eyes. At Michael's words, the air turned heavy, and an oppressive aura filled the throne room. The deity's anger was palpable, something bad was coming. Who is this new king? The words were cold, and a smoky, frigid mist curled from the deity's lips. His green eyes glowed, resonating with powerful magic that rippled through the heavens. Michael felt his throat tighten. If the creator was this enraged now, the true horror of the news was yet to come. It is Naruto Leviathan, formerly Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The pressure immediately lifted from heaven's gates, but the cold look in God's eyes remained unshaken. That wretched child, God muttered under his breath. I've done so much for him, and now he's turned to darkness. What will we do? Michael asked, seeking guidance from his creator. For now, nothing. I will deal with him personally, God replied, the weight of his decision hanging in the air. Hell 666 years had passed in hell. Little had changed, except for the slow advancement of the underworld and the strategic preparations for an upcoming war. Naruto sat upon his dark throne, Albedo nestled in his lap. Are you leaving now? She asked, a trace of sadness in her smile. Yes, Tsunade sent word that the time has come. The demon hunters should be no more, Naruto answered, gently caressing Albedo's hand. They won't be able to track you once you leave, she said with an evil grin, one Naruto matched. You know it, he whispered, leaning in for a kiss. I'll let you know how things go. I love you, Naruto. I love you too. Naruto's form shimmered and vanished from hell in a burst of light, leaving Albedo behind with a promise of contact. My lord, don't leave without me, Curtis called, his own body turning into pure magic as he followed Naruto's departure. The time had come for Naruto to make his mark. Happy place it was a crowded Friday night. The air was thick with excitement, and the smoke machine sent mist curling across the floor. One reason for the large crowd was the performance of one of the most controversial women to ever grace the stage. Let's keep things chill, folks. An elderly man in an orange and black uniform shouted, moving through the floor until he spotted one of the servers. Oh, June, how are you, darling? He adjusted his glasses with a smile, his large belly wobbling slightly. June, a young woman with short black hair and a flirtatious air about her, paused and smiled. She wore a revealing red miniskirt and a crop top that accentuated her curves. Hey there, Mr. Atoshi. How's it going? Mr. Atoshi, a retired ninja and regular at the club, chuckled. Girl, you look fine enough to make a grown man blush. June laughed, brushing some crumbs from his mustache. Careful there, Atoshi. You're drooling, he laughed heartily. Drooling? Oh no, girl, I'm just getting warmed up. After a brief exchange, June walked away with a playful smile, leaving Atoshi chuckling to himself. Meanwhile, Nami was preparing for her performance. She hadn't danced in years, but tonight was special. Men packed the room, eager for the show. In his office, Flask counted money lazily. Suddenly, he froze, a chill running up his spine. Something was wrong. He drew his sword, scanning the room for danger. Back on the main floor, a group of Leaf Shinobi sat at a table, discussing everything from missions to new recruits. So Kakashi, planning to mentor a team this year? Might Guy asked, sipping from his glass. Kakashi, ever the unbothered jounin, took a sip from his own drink. Depends if they meet the standards. Probably talking about the Uchiha, right? Asuma added, glancing around at the girls passing by, distracted by their beauty. Focus, Asuma, Guy chided, though the other men were too caught up in the sights around them. It's probably Haruno-san that Kakashi means. Sakura Haruno, Asuma clarified, before freezing when a woman with a striking resemblance to Sakura gave him a deadly glare. What's going on? Asuma asked, feeling the tension in the air. People here take Sakura's family ties seriously, Kakashi explained. Ever since Naruto passed, the district's been a bit more hostile to outsiders. Sakura's changed. Ever since Naruto, she's been different, Kakashi added with a casual shrug. Something's off. Maybe she needs to talk to Inoichi, Guy suggested, clearly concerned. As the conversation continued, the club's lights dimmed, signaling the start of the main event. Here she comes, a voice announced. The crowd erupted in applause as Nami appeared, radiating confidence and sensuality. She moved effortlessly across the stage, collecting money from the eager patrons. The men couldn't tear their eyes away, though a few looked to the side, whispering to each other. Oh Naruto, I wish you were still here to help, Maybuki said, sipping from the glass of wine on the counter. She straightened the white robe she wore and walked to the backyard. Sakura, it's time for bed. You have school tomorrow. Sakura glanced at her mother with her displeased emerald green eyes. Just a minute, she replied, continuing to practice her taijutsu forms. No, I already gave you 10 extra minutes, Maybuki responded firmly. You're coming inside now. Her patience was wearing thin. It seemed Sakura was going through one of those rebellious phases. Fine. Sakura stopped and walked inside in silence, feeling guilty for being rude to her mother. She knew there was no excuse for her behavior. Sorry, she muttered as she walked into the kitchen for a drink. Naruto would be upset if he saw her acting this way. Suddenly, Maybuki felt something stir inside her and looked down to see her stomach bulging. What the? Maybuki stopped when she felt a gentle kick. The sensation was familiar. I'm pregnant, she murmured, rubbing her belly, which looked to be around 4 months along. Sakura quickly ran around the corner and froze, her eyes widening. Mom, you're pregnant. Maybuki's eye twitched. It's called carrying a baby. She leaned against the wall as the baby shifted inside of her. Help me to the bed. Walking is getting difficult. Okay, Mom. Just be careful, Sakura said, helping her mother as they moved toward the bedroom. It was clear that the caring side of Sakura still lingered deep within. 5 months later, Maybuki was lying in a hospital bed, about to give birth to her son. The doctors were baffled, unable to explain how Maybuki got pregnant in the first place. All right, this is the final push, the male doctor said, speaking to the panting Maybuki. She nodded, ready for the last stretch. Come on, Mom, you can do it, Sakura encouraged, though she winced as Maybuki's grip tightened on her hands. Maybuki nodded and pushed, but something strange happened. There were no cries from the baby. It seemed to crawl out by itself, and the doctor quickly caught it before it could fall. After cleaning the baby, he wrapped him in a blanket and handed him to Maybuki. Here's your baby boy, the doctor said, smiling as he passed the bundle to her. Maybuki looked at her newborn son with a strange expression, her curiosity piqued. Why does he have black hair with red-black eyes and horns? I don't know, honey, this is already so weird. Maybuki was as confused as Sakura, but she smiled softly as she kissed her son's head. His intelligence seemed unusual for a newborn. What are we going to name him? Sakura asked, gazing down at her new brother. Your name will be Naruto Leviathan. The baby spoke effortlessly. Did he just talk? Sakura and Maybuki shouted in unison, both staring at the baby in disbelief. They looked around, but the doctor had mysteriously left the room. So you're Naruto? Maybuki asked, still in shock, as she sat across from the young man in front of them. He wore a white shirt and pants, and 2 horns sprouted from his head. His smooth skin radiated power and his eyes glowed. That's right, Naruto replied with a confident smirk. The same Naruto from Happy Place and the Mouth of Freakin' Dawn. But how? Sakura demanded, her tears welling up. We saw you die, we buried you, tell me this isn't some joke. She grabbed Naruto's shoulders, shaking him. Naruto smiled sadly, pulling her into a comforting embrace. I know, and I'm sorry for leaving you like that. But it's really me, your big brother from all those years ago, he said softly, hugging the crying Sakura. Seeing the way Naruto comforted her daughter, Maybuki began to believe his story. Only Naruto would do something so wild. But they had many questions now for the boy, no, for their son. Naru-chan, is it really you? This isn't some illusion or prank, is it? Maybuki asked, moving closer to him, her voice full of uncertainty. I've waited over 2,000 years to be with you two again. No way I'd trick you, Naruto replied, smiling warmly as he stood to embrace his mother. Oh, Naru, Maybuki whispered as she hugged him tightly, with Sakura joining in. But I should warn you, I'm not the same anymore, Naruto said as he pulled away from the embrace and sat down, the mother and daughter joining him. Well, clearly, you look completely different now. What happened to you? Maybuki asked, her hands gently brushing against his new muscular frame. And these horns? Sakura asked, poking one of the horns on his head. They look like something from a fantasy story. I'm the Demon King, Naruto said with a nostalgic smile. When I died, my wife, the ex-demon queen, took me to hell where I conquered the land. What? Maybuki raised an eyebrow. You expect me to believe that? Of course not, Naruto said casually, before pulling out a small object from nowhere, a phone. Let me show you. Sakura and Maybuki looked at the strange device curiously. It's called a phone, and it can do a lot of things, Naruto explained with a grin, showing them a picture of himself and a white-haired woman standing before giant demonic gates, a 3-headed dog guarding them. Who's that woman with you? Sakura asked, narrowing her eyes. Naruto chuckled, ruffling her hair. That's one of my mates, Asuma. This was us at the gates of hell. What? Maybuki and Sakura shouted in disbelief as they examined the picture. Naruto laughed, showing them another picture. This one's from when me and Kurama were at Origin Mountain. It's where the first demons came from. Is that the 9 tails? Maybuki asked, blinking. Yeah, his name's Kurama. Please call him that from now on, Naruto requested gently. Sakura looked at him with a question. So you can do magic and stuff. You bet I can, Naruto said with a grin. Wanna see? Sakura nodded eagerly. Don't you think it's just some form of jutsu? Maybuki interjected before Naruto could do anything wild. You're right in a way, but magic and chakra are different. Magic is much more versatile, Naruto explained. I can use both. Want to see the difference? With a flick of his wrist, Naruto created two spinning orbs, one of red chakra and the other of red magic. The chakra orb spiraled erratically, while the magic orb felt heavy and destructive. Whoa, both Maybuki and Sakura muttered. This is so strange, Maybuki said, gripping her head in frustration. Why do you have to make everything so complicated, Naru-chan? Naruto wrapped his arms around his mother, feeling content. No matter what, he was now her son, and she was his mother. He would prove to the world that he was truly their child. I'm sorry your favorite child is such a troublemaker, Naruto joked, a sincere tone in his voice. I'll give you everything you could ever want. Maybuki chuckled. Since when did I say you were my favorite child? When I gave you that wrinkle cream, Naruto teased. Hey, Sakura protested. I'm mom's favorite. She even hung my family drawing on the fridge, Naruto laughed. That low-class drawing, I could do a better job with my toes. Sakura's face turned bright red with anger. I'll show you, she yelled, jumping on Naruto's back and trying to choke him. Oh no, someone save me. I'm being choked by an angry girl, Naruto teased, though Sakura's attempts didn't faze him. Maybuki watched the two with a warm smile. It had been so long since she saw Sakura this lively, and it was all thanks to Naruto. No matter what he was, whether a demon, human, dragon, or god, she would always be there for him. Sakura-chan, you still have school tomorrow, Maybuki reminded her, halting their play. What? No way, my brother just got back, Sakura protested, clinging to Naruto. Now, Sakura. School's important, Naruto said, his tone mock serious. Says the one who didn't go to school, Sakura shot back. Naruto shrugged. I'll visit your school tomorrow after talking to Hiruzen. How about that? Sakura's mood brightened, but she was still upset. Fine, but can we train later? Naruto raised an eyebrow. He had heard from Tsunade that Sakura was different now, cold and vengeful toward the village. That was fine. He could work with that. We can do whatever you desire. Naruto grinned, patting Sakura's head, only for her to swat it away. Now, Naruto found himself strolling through the red light district with Curtis by his side. While Naruto had been inside Maybuki, Curtis had been keeping watch over the family from a distance. As they walked, they drew curious stares. Although Naruto was in simple clothing, and Curtis still wore his battle attire, something about them seemed out of place. It's probably my horns, Naruto mused casually. Maybe you should hide them, Curtis suggested. No need for that, Naruto said with a wave. This is the demon king you're seeing. I won't hide from anyone. As you wish, my lord, Curtis said with a respectful smile. Arriving at their destination, Naruto felt a wave of nostalgia. Curtis opened the door for him, just like they used to do. Just like I remember it, though this place could use a little more of hell's charm, Naruto remarked as he looked around at the wooden interiors and velvet carpets. That idiot Flask didn't do anything to improve it. As Naruto moved forward, several women surrounded him, flirting without a care about the horns on his head. Hey handsome, spend some time with a lady. Let me show you what you've been missing. I'll open your eyes to a whole new world. Naruto smirked, recognizing them all. Rena, June, September. No time for that, ladies, Naruto said, gently brushing past them, but then paused when he heard a familiar voice. You sound just like Naruto-sama. Always working. Yeah, he barely spent any time with us, June pouted. Naruto smiled. Maybe he should tell them who he really was. Don't worry, girls, Naruto Haruno Leviathan has returned. The club fell silent. Even the music stopped. Everyone stared at him blank-faced before angry expressions overtook them. How dare you insult him? Are you asking for death? You will regret that. Angry glares and shouts filled the air, accompanied by killing intent directed at Naruto and Curtis. Rather than being upset, Naruto grinned, touched by their loyalty. It was nice knowing they cared enough to defend his name. Everyone, calm down. This really is Naruto-sama. Curtis stepped forward to ease the tension. It's me, Curtis. You insulted Curtis, you'll pay for that, September yelled, stepping forward with a large kitchen knife. What's going on down here? I've got a headache from last night, came the sexy voice of Kana, coming down the stairs with messy brown hair and a shirt barely covering her. Yeah, we partied hard last night, added the busty Vanessa, also looking disheveled. They're disrespecting Naruto-sama, someone shouted. Without missing a beat, both Kana and Vanessa grabbed weapons, their anger flaring. They must have a death wish. Kana said as they both advanced on Naruto and Curtis, glaring fiercely. Naruto's smirk returned. Nice to see you still know how to pull out weapons, and Vanessa, I see you still refuse to wear anything decent. Also, it's one-chan, he teased with a smirk. Kana and Vanessa paused, staring at him, really seeing him for the first time. Curtis, is that really you? I thought you died, Kana gasped, pulling Curtis into a hug. Curtis grinned and rubbed the back of his head. I did die, but then I went to hell and traveled with my lord on his journey to become the Demon King. The two women raised an eyebrow. This is your lord? Kana asked, poking Naruto's chest. He's handsome, I'll give you that. Wonder how big you are. Bigger than your head, Naruto retorted. Vanessa grinned and pushed herself against Naruto's back. Is that right? Kana stepped back, arms crossed. If you're really Naruto, then tell me something only he would know. A knowing smile spread across Naruto's face. Your life dream is to challenge Tsunade to a drinking contest. Your favorite snack is muffins. And you once told me that Nami wants to travel the world and make the best map ever. What? How did you know that? Kana shouted. Because I am me. I'm Naruto. Kana stared at him, studying him with a new perspective. The black horns on his head, the older, more mature look in his eyes, she saw him for who he truly was. How are you alive? Kana asked, stepping closer. Naruto smiled warmly and pulled her into an embrace. I'm the Demon King, there's a lot you missed out on. Is it true? Vanessa asked, stepping forward as well. It is, Naruto replied, and just as he said that, Vanessa jumped into his arms, kissing him all over. Where have you been, you little rascal? Naruto chuckled as she showered his cheeks with kisses. I've been in my own heaven. Vanessa laughed. Really now, I'm sure hell wasn't easy. It wasn't at first, but I got stronger, and everything fell into place after that. Naruto pulled her away before becoming serious again. But as nice as it is to see you all again, I've come for something important. The women's expressions turned to smiles of relief, knowing their prayers had been answered by none other than the Demon King himself. The jerk's upstairs in your room. Make sure to teach him a lesson, Kana said, nudging Naruto's fist. As Naruto walked up the stairs with Curtis, he considered how he wanted to handle things. Should he kill him quickly, drag it out, or humiliate him? Curtis, let me hit him first. Then you can finish him off, Naruto decided. Make sure to hold back. You don't want to level the village by mistake, Curtis warned. Understood. When they reached the second floor, Naruto blasted the door off its hinges with a burst of magic. He stared at the man lounging behind his desk. Damn, you're still ugly as hell after all these years. At the sight of the destroyed door, Flask jumped up, drawing his sword. Who are you? Do you know who I am? A crackhead with power, Naruto said, moving with speed to punch Flask in the face. However, he didn't hold back enough, and Flask's head exploded, taking the entire room with it. Shit, Naruto's hand glowed with white magic as he reversed time, bringing everything back to how it was moments ago. Flask drew his sword in fear. Who are you? Do you know who I am? I don't even want to get my hands dirty with you. Curtis, just kill him, Naruto commanded. As you wish, my lord. Curtis stepped forward, drawing his sword with a menacing calmness. Flask's heart raced as he faced Curtis. He thought he had killed him. How are you alive? I was a lesser version of myself before. Now, as long as my lord is here, I'll never die again, Curtis responded, flames flaring from his sword. Naruto grinned. Ready to use my own magic against him, Curtis. If you permit it, my lord, Curtis said. With a cold finality, Curtis brought his sword down, unleashing a burning arc of fire. Flask screamed in agony as the flames consumed him, burning away every last trace of him. Shut up, idiot, Naruto muttered, stomping on the now burning remnants of Flask's head. What do we do now, my lord? Naruto's laughter echoed in the room. Now, we go register as ninjas. I'm due for a chat with the old man. To say Hiruzen was stunned would be an understatement. Here he was, seated before a demon king while his loyal servant stood behind him, ready to strike at a moment's notice. And then, the demon turned out to be none other than Naruto Uzumaki. He had countless questions, but the primary one occupied his mind. What happened to the Nine Tails? A smug expression appeared on Naruto's face. These humans with their narrow focus. Which one? You saw the fox walking next to me in my memories. But assuming there's only one Ninetales is strange when there's an entire clan of multi-tailed foxes on the 7th floor of hell. Indeed, Hiruzen had witnessed Naruto walking alongside a fox. But if there were more than one Ninetales, the possibilities for the Leaf were immense. If they could control two nine-tailed Jinchuriki, the power they could wield would be overwhelming. No one could stand against them. The entire world could fall under the sway of the Leaf. Look at him, practically drooling over the thought, how easily humans fall into temptation. God's so-called perfect creations, my foot. I make the perfect creations. Naruto thought with twisted amusement at Hiruzen's obsession with power. So, where is the Nine Tails? He has a name, it's Kurama. You'd better use it or else. Is that a threat? Hiruzen asked, his voice carrying a dangerous edge, as a hint of his killing intent bled into the air, still capable of subjugating even the most formidable of foes. Behind Naruto, Curtis's hand twitched, and it took all of his self-control not to eliminate Hiruzen right then and there. Naruto chuckled darkly. You feeble old fool, it is a threat. Call him anything other than his name again, and I'll end you. Naruto's tone was deadly serious. He would not tolerate disrespect toward his closest ally. Hiruzen expected his ANBU to leap into action, but even as he signaled them to calm down, he noticed something alarming. Where had they gone? Your ANBU are dead. Naruto spoke with chilling calm. Just look to your left. Hiruzen didn't move but locked eyes with Naruto, then slowly turned his head to the left. The sight that greeted him nearly made him choke on his own breath. His ANBU guards were pinned to the wall, limbs splayed wide, their bones skewering through the stone. Blood streamed down the walls, forming pools beneath their lifeless forms. What? When did he do this? Hiruzen's mind screamed in shock as he processed the horrific scene. It wasn't me, Naruto spoke as if reading Hiruzen's thoughts. I never moved from this spot. Hiruzen glared at Naruto, who was still seated comfortably, legs spread wide, reclining in his chair. His gaze shifted to the black-haired man standing silently behind Naruto. Curtis's eyes were closed, but as he opened them, Hiruzen froze. Suddenly, memories flooded his mind, Curtis brutally slaughtering his ANBU while he and Naruto casually conversed. His ANBU had screamed for mercy, begging Hiruzen for help, but he had done nothing as they were butchered. Those black eyes, so demonic and unblinking, seemed to judge him as if weighing his worth, deciding whether or not to end his life. A cold shiver ran down Hiruzen's spine as Curtis's stare became unbearable. Even his very soul seemed to recoil from the gaze. We're getting off track. Naruto snapped his fingers, and the bodies evaporated, the bloodstains disappearing as though they had never been. Now put me on a team with Sakura-chan. His voice was as calm as the gentle flow of a river. Why should I? They graduate tomorrow, and the teams are already set. You would just disrupt everything. Hiruzen tried to reason, hoping to dissuade Naruto from joining that team. Why would the Demon King want to be a lowly genin? Surely, Jounin would suit you better. Naruto's smile turned into something wicked. You're playing a dangerous game. I've killed for far less. Manipulating me by appealing to my ego is a foolish tactic. You'll never win that fight with me. His eyes glowed with a chaotic light as he spoke. Sweat started to bead on Hiruzen's forehead as he realized just how outmatched he was. If Curtis was this strong, and he served Naruto, it was impossible to ignore the power gap. I will speak to the council, but you must understand that they are not the ones in charge of this village. You are, Naruto's voice was smooth, almost hypnotic, as it twisted Hiruzen's mind. I'm the perfect fit for that team. Plus, I've never been a genin before. It'll help me gain the villagers' respect. And I want to become Hokage. Hiruzen blinked in surprise at that. You want to be Hokage? Yes, Naruto said, a greedy smile forming on his face as he looked up toward the sky. And I intend to take that position. As for my role within the village, it's only a stepping stone to my true ambitions. Hiruzen's mind raced. The Demon King as Hokage, that would be an extraordinary opportunity. I'll place you on her team, Hiruzen said, writing a note for Uruka. I'll inform him beforehand. Good. Naruto stood, moving toward the door, Curtis following behind. Just before he exited, Naruto paused, glancing back at Hiruzen. There's a gathering at Happy Place tonight. I'd recommend you check it out. I'll see. The Hokage doesn't always have time for such distractions, Hiruzen said with a laugh. Yeah, right, I know you'll be there, you old perv. Naruto chuckled, closing the door behind him. Once the door shut, Hiruzen broke out in a cold sweat, clutching his chest as he fought to regulate his heartbeat. My God, just being near him felt like I was going to die. Did he release that pressure on purpose, or is it natural? Hiruzen wondered, his mind spinning. Reaching into his desk, he pulled out a cross and gripped it tightly, murmuring a prayer under his breath. Too easy, Naruto grinned as he walked through the streets, his white slippers collecting dirt. My lord, do you truly want to be Hokage? Hell no, Naruto smirked. That's for Tsu-chan. She'll play her part in the plan. I've got something much better in mind. Naruto's eyes gleamed with ambition as he looked toward the sky. Everything is falling into place. Understood, Curtis replied, his voice calm. I'll go assist Mother. She might need help with everything we've given her. With a soft nod, Curtis soared into the sky, leaving Naruto to carry out his plans. Upon hearing the words, Maybuki's gaze fell, her heart heavy with sorrow. It seemed that Naruto had truly turned into a being of darkness, bound to chaos. She had tried her best to guide him, but perhaps Naruto had already been lost to evil from the very start, even as a child. Despite her efforts, things hadn't turned out as she had hoped. So, there are no good demons? Maybuki asked quietly. Well, of course there are, Curtis replied. Naruto-sama is one of them. There are many kind-hearted demons in hell. But at their core, there's always a lurking darkness, ready to surface at any given moment. He said this in the calmest tone he could muster, yet his words carried a serious weight. Naruto-chan is kind? Maybuki asked, hope glimmering in her eyes. After hearing of his evil ways, this small piece of news was a breath of relief. Curtis' face softened, a genuine warmth filling his expression. Whenever he spoke about Naruto, his admiration was obvious. My lord is the kindest being I know. He's saved me more times than I can count. The only reason I'm able to speak to you right now is because he gave me purpose. That's why I follow him, no matter where his path leads, even if it's to make heaven bow before him. I'll stand by his side, as will all the demons loyal to our demon king. Maybuki looked at Curtis, taken aback by the deep loyalty he displayed. It filled her with pride for Naruto. To have inspired such devotion was no small feat. A smile spread across her face. Naruto-chan seems to be quite the demon. Oh, if only I had a real body, I'd serve my king in every way possible. The phone beeped, and Nina's voice came through, her figure materializing in a holographic bed, showing off her slim form. Maybuki blushed instantly. Don't speak of my son like that. Great lady, you have no idea what others say about my lord, and if the rumors are to be believed, he knows how to please a woman. Nina's voice was dripping with delight as she playfully teased. What rumors? Maybuki stammered. Oh, you know, how he made every succubus submit to him when he took control of the second layer of hell, the floor of lust. That's enough, you vile virus, Curtis snapped, swatting at the hologram, which flickered back to life. Who are you calling a virus? Nina retorted, her voice rising. I'm the latest update and I'm immune to all bugs. Whatever, just leave already, Curtis muttered, tossing the phone aside. Now if you want to know more about hell, what do you want to ask? Maybuki reclined on the soft couch, thinking for a moment. What is there to do there? All the stories say hell is just a burning pit full of tormented souls. True, but hell offers endless possibilities, Curtis replied, pulling out his phone. He showed her a video. Take a look at this, Naruto-sama, Asuma, Kurama and I jumping from space. Maybuki's eyes widened as the video began to play. My lord, I'm not sure about this. That's a really long drop, Curtis said hesitantly. Stop being a coward, Curtis. This is going to be amazing. We'll crash into the planet Omen to soften our landing, Naruto exclaimed, excited. Idiot. You're banned from that planet after what you did to the ruler's daughter. Kurama interjected, his voice filled with annoyance. In Naruto-kun's defense, she came onto him first, Asuma added with a grin. Naruto smiled back at her. See, that's why I love you. He kissed Asuma, making her smile in return. This was the fifth layer of hell greed. The most complex layer, ruled by humans with Adam, the king of humans, at the helm. The group was standing on the white rings of the planet Slippers, suspended in space with the dark abyss of stars all around. Below them was the planet Omen, and they were about to leap from the edge. Make sure you record this, Curtis. We'll get so many views on CultTube, Naruto said as he prepared to jump. I'm recording, Curtis confirmed, holding up his phone. All right, let's go, Naruto shouted, running toward the edge and leaping off, followed by the others as they fell toward the planet below, laughing and performing stunts along the way. What the hell? Maybuki muttered, wide-eyed. Yeah, it was terrifying the first time, Curtis admitted, shuddering, but Maybuki had more questions. Who is Asuma? Asuma is one of Naruto-sama's mates. She's from dark matter, and she met Naruto on the second floor. They fought a battle to the death, but ended up in a tie. Now, she's the leader of Naruto-sama's imperial army, which he uses for his wars. Wars? What wars? And how many mates does he have? Maybuki fired off, clearly overwhelmed. If you stop shaking me, I'll tell you, Curtis said, brushing his hair back from his face. Sorry, Maybuki apologized, then quickly noticed the muscular build of Curtis. He was as solid as a wall. She blushed and let go. My lord has fought in more wars than this world has seen, times 100, and he currently has 4 mates, Curtis explained. S4, Maybuki's eyes widened before she fainted, overwhelmed by the revelation. Great lady, Curtis shook her, but she only mumbled nonsense in her sleep. Meanwhile, in the classroom, Sakura sat quietly at the back, gazing at the others with a cold, distant look in her eyes. She didn't want to be here. She would much rather be home with her older brother, who was now alive. It felt like a strange dream, and she hoped it wasn't a joke. She couldn't wait to start the training Naruto had promised. Class was almost over, and Sakura tapped her foot impatiently. Her tapping caught the attention of her best friend, Ino, who spoke up. "What's got you so excited? You look like you're ready to jump out of here." Sakura glanced at Ino, her emerald eyes colder than usual. "I just want to go home. This place is boring." Ino rolled her eyes. "Liar, come on, what's really going on?" Sakura remained silent, knowing Ino was relentless when it came to getting information. The girl was a natural spy, soaking up gossip like a sponge. But Ino was also her closest friend, and even though she was nosy, Sakura couldn't stay mad at her. "I'll tell you after class," Sakura finally said, her lips curling into a smirk. "Inopig, you better or I'll stalk you until I get the truth," Ino teased, crossing her arms. At that moment, the boy sitting below them turned around with a grin. "Sakura-chan, how about you come hang out with a real alpha after class?" Sakura didn't even look at the boy. His red fang-like markings twitched in irritation. "Go eat your dog food by yourself," Ino snapped, speaking for Sakura. Kiba's face reddened, showing off his sharp teeth. "Who are you calling a bitch?" Sakura's eyes snapped to Kiba, and he immediately shivered, his voice faltering. "Don't talk to my friend like that," she said, her tone as sharp as a blade. "And for the last time, I don't want anything to do with you. Ask me out again and I'll kill you." Her words were clear and final. "Sakura, what have I told you about threatening your future comrades?" Uruka shouted. Sakura simply turned her gaze out the window, wishing her older brother would come and take her away from this boring place. "Ha ha ha, serves you right, you pathetic pussy." Hinata laughed, pointing at Kiba. "Hinata, language." Hinata quickly suppressed her laughter, not wanting Uruka to tell her father. She gave a weak apology, though she still shot a middle finger behind his back. Uruka sighed, erasing the problem off the board. "These kids are going to be the death of me. I just want graduation to hurry up." The bell rang, signaling the end of class. The students quickly packed up, and Sakura dashed out of the room, dragging a stunned Ino behind her. "Wait, Sakura, I forgot my bag," Ino complained. "Who cares? You'll just get a new one," Sakura replied as they ran. Once outside, Sakura smiled, feeling the excitement of going home. Ino managed to escape from her grip and caught up, running beside her. "Just going to run past me like I'm not even here. Oh, Sakura-chan, you hurt my heart." Sakura froze, causing Ino to stop as well, confused by her sudden pause. From the shadows, dressed in white casual clothes, Naruto walked out, his midnight black horns visible above his forehead. "So, no hug for your big brother, Sakura-chan," he teased with a grin. "Big brother?" Sakura cheered, running toward Naruto with excitement and jumping into his arms. "What brings you here? Not that I'm complaining." She smiled after releasing him from the hug and looked up at him curiously. "Simple, I came to pick you up from school," Naruto replied, grinning. He playfully ruffled Sakura's hair, messing up her long, beautiful pink locks. Sakura immediately swatted his hand away, pouting in annoyance. Her pout faded into a hopeful smile. "Are we still going to train, just like you promised?" Naruto flashed a rare soft smile. "Of course I promised, didn't I?" Sakura beamed. "Then let's go." She grabbed his hand and tugged him forward. Hey. The two of them stopped and turned to see Ino, who was flushed red with embarrassment. The Yamanaka couldn't stand being left out of any conversation, especially one that seemed so exciting. As she looked at Naruto, her face flushed even more. Who was this handsome person before her? Those crimson eyes, the faint darkness behind them, his short, messy black hair, and the way his muscles flexed against his shirt, she couldn't help but notice. "Sakura, aren't you going to introduce me?" Ino asked, though her voice was slightly shaky. Sakura rolled her eyes. "Ino, this is my big brother Naruto. And Naruto-kun, this is Ino, also known as Inopig," she said quickly, before trying to walk off again, only to be blocked by Ino. "Ino, you said Naruto was gone, but I remember how he looked," Ino said, looking Naruto over once more as her cheeks went red again. "And this is definitely not what he looked like." Sakura shrugged. "It's a long story, but my brother's the Demon King and came back to life through my mom, and well, here we are." Ino blinked, her confusion evident as she processed the explanation. Naruto chuckled, catching Ino's attention. "It's nice to meet you, Ino-chan. Thanks for being friends with my sister." Ino blushed, feeling flustered by Naruto's kind words. Even though he didn't look like the old Naruto she remembered, there was no mistaking the charm he exuded. "I am honored, Naruto," she stammered, nervously tugging at the hem of her skirt while trying to hold his gaze. Sakura couldn't help but feel a strange discomfort in her chest watching Ino interact so warmly with her brother. Why did it bother her so much? She and Ino were friends. She had no reason to feel this jealous. Maybe it was because Ino was stealing her brother's attention. Ino, I'll tell you more tomorrow, Sakura said, pulling Naruto away. We've got training to do. With a peace sign, she led him back toward their house, shooting angry glares at the civilians they passed, who dared make snide comments about her family. I'm home, Sakura called as she entered the house. Watch your mouth, before Naruto could finish. A slipper came flying at him and struck him in the face. Maybuki's secret weapon was always on point. Don't you dare finish that sentence. Maybuki marched over, slipper in hand. She grabbed Naruto by the ear and began dragging him along. How many times have I told you, no cursing? Naruto counted on his fingers, then smiled, too many times. Another slipper hit him square in the face. With that kind of power you could rule over hell. Maybuki sighed, slumping into the couch. What am I going to do with you? Naruto grinned brightly. Make my favorite meal, of course. Maybuki chuckled at his enthusiasm. Yellow rice with oven-baked chicken. Exactly. Naruto gave a thumbs up before heading to the backyard, where Sakura waited. I'll go train with Sakura-chan. My lord, Curtis said, bowing. Curtis, I hope you've helped my mom with everything. Maybuki smiled as she held onto Curtis' arm, pulling it toward her chest. He's been a great help, telling me all about your travels in hell, and helping me with this phone. Curtis froze, his face pale as he tried to understand why Maybuki was holding him like this, right in front of his lord. He was sure he was going to die. Naruto raised an eyebrow, noticing Curtis' panic. He looked from Maybuki to Curtis and frowned. Curtis, come outside, he ordered. Curtis nervously followed him outside. Ready to train, big brother? Sakura asked, her excitement obvious. Naruto smiled darkly. Yes, and Curtis here will help us. Sakura raised an eyebrow. How? I'll teach you a move I learned from one of my allies, Naruto said, then glanced at Curtis with narrowed eyes. Before Curtis could react, Naruto delivered an uppercut that sent him soaring into the sky, past the clouds, into space, and eventually crashing into a rocky, barren object. Curtis was now on the planet Pluto. My lord. I'm sorry, Curtis shouted, tears and blood mixing as he bowed repeatedly. He never meant to anger Naruto. Sakura stared, stunned. B-brother, how did you do that? Naruto stretched his arms with satisfaction. That bastard was trying to get too close to my mom. Lucky for him, I'm not in a killing mood or he'd be a pile of ash. He turned to Sakura, his expression softening. But I'll teach you. Let's get started. Curtis appeared back on Earth, none the worse for wear, and immediately bowed before Naruto. I apologize, my lord, Naruto sighed. It's fine, Curtis, I know it wasn't your fault. Just be more careful next time. Curtis nodded, his face still pale from the ordeal. Naruto turned back to Sakura. Now, what do you want to learn first? Sakura hesitated for a moment. I've studied medical techniques, but my taijutsu needs work. Most of the moves are designed for people with more chakra and stronger bodies than I have. Naruto tilted her chin up, making her look him in the eyes. Don't feel discouraged, it's just how things are, but you can change that, like I did. Sakura's face lit up. How? Simple, Naruto replied with a smirk. I'll train you. You have decent chakra control for someone with no ninja background, and I think you could be even better than most chunin. Sakura's eyes widened. Do you really think so? Naruto smirked. Of course. I'm the demon king of hell after all. I know every fighting style and there's one that'll be perfect for you. He took a step back and assumed a relaxed guard. Now show me what you've got. Sakura smirked in return, then lunged forward, ready to fight. Meanwhile, night had fallen across the village, and the stars twinkled above. Normally, this would be a peaceful time. But tonight, it was anything but. The streets were alive with loud music and bright lights as people walked toward a booming club, dressed in their finest clothes. Hiruzen, the Hokage, was heading to the party as well. Why? Because he had received an invitation from the Demon King himself. I'm too old for this, Hiruzen sighed, knocking on the door. As the Hokage, he could bypass the line and get in whenever he wanted. On the other side of the door, he could hear the booming music and the sounds of celebration. The door swung open, revealing Naruto, grinning widely. Hiruzen. Come on in, old man. He pulled the Hokage inside. Looking good, Hokage-sama, a drunk ninja called out. So glad you could make it. Naruto handed Hiruzen a drink. The party's just getting started. Hiruzen eyed the drink warily. Naruto, I'm the Hokage, I can't be seen drunk. Naruto shrugged. It's a party, just enjoy yourself and drink. Reluctantly, Hiruzen took a sip and immediately started coughing. The drink was stronger than he had expected. He hadn't had anything like it in years. Good right? Naruto grinned, watching Hiruzen struggle. What is this? Hiruzen gasped, trying to get his breath back. It's from hell, Naruto chuckled. That's all you need to know. He patted Hiruzen on the back just as a beautiful woman grabbed Naruto by the arm. Naruto-sama, I'm having such a good time. But you know what would make it even better, Tilda? She purred seductively, pulling down the straps of her bra and revealing more than just a flirtatious smile. Naruto grinned slyly. Not tonight, June. I've got someone else keeping my bed warm. He reached into his pocket and pulled out some cash, slipping it between her breasts until it was secure. Treat yourself when you're done. Ah. Naruto-sama, you're the best. June leaned forward to plant a kiss on his cheek, leaving behind a bright lipstick mark. With a skip in her step, she happily moved on to find her next source of income. All right, Hiruzen, keep partying down here. I'll catch up with you later. Naruto said, his words barely registering as a green glow surrounded him and a magic circle appeared beneath his feet. Lady Tsunade, are you certain it's safe for us to be here? Shizune, you're overthinking again. Tsunade replied with a carefree wave, focusing on painting her nails a glossy ruby red. And you don't think enough, Shizune muttered, glancing nervously at their surroundings. Tsunade rolled her eyes, brushing off Shizune's concern. Her smile returned as she glanced at her nails drying quickly under her breath. The two women shared a moment of quiet, and Shizune couldn't help but feel a warm sense of gratitude. Since Naruto had entered their lives, Tsunade had been far happier. Shizune would forever be thankful for that. Before Naruto arrived, Tsunade was lost in despair, drowning her sorrows with alcohol, throwing away the wealth of her clan, and wallowing in self-pity. But now, Tsunade had regained purpose. She had someone to fight for, someone to care for, and it had brought her back from the brink. Tsunade exhaled sharply, drying her nails with a satisfied sigh before addressing Shizune. Do you remember the first time we met Naruto-kun? Flashback. In the quiet of a desolate forest, a hole suddenly appeared in the ground, from which anguished cries could be heard. A hand reached out, followed by a figure pulling themselves free from the pit. The figure stood, rolling their head as if shaking off a long sleep. Ah, back on Earth after so long, the person murmured, their attire torn and blackened, their red eyes scanning the area with a sense of recognition. Naruto floated in the air, surveying his surroundings with a piercing gaze. Warm winds, vast green fields, tall trees. This is fire country, he concluded, then gently descended to the ground. His senses flared, and he turned to see a massive cloud forming in the sky, beginning to swirl inward. The phenomenon caught his interest. Well, the gods don't waste any time, do they? He mused aloud, his voice laced with mockery. Which one of you gods will face me today? From the swirling cloud, a figure descended, their form radiant with holy light. Wings unfolded, their short, neatly kept oak-brown hair shining under the sun. Their yellow eyes glowed with an aura of divine power, and their armor gleamed under the light. Oh, shiny armor. That polished silver really highlights the color of your eyes, Naruto teased with a chuckle, drawing his dragon sword as his opponent also drew a blade. It's you, the last dragon of destruction, the angel, Rogal declared, his voice filled with disdain. Naruto smirked. And you're the weakest of the archangels. This will be interesting. Without wasting a moment, the battle erupted into chaos, magic and steel clashing as Rogal unleashed holy power, aiming to banish Naruto back to the infernal realms from which he came. But Naruto, determined and relentless, fought back, using his dark powers to overpower his divine foe. As the battle escalated, the surrounding village was obliterated by the force of their conflict, the ground shaking with the impact of their attacks. After an intense struggle, Naruto stood victorious, his sword plunged deep into Rogal's chest. He pulled a glowing orb from the angel's chest and consumed it, feeling his power surge. Lunch is on you today, Naruto quipped, his eyes glowing with a cruel amusement as he felt the magic course through him. Once I return to hell, the demon lord better prepare to lose his throne. End flashback. Back in the present, Tsunade and Shizune walked along a quiet path, unaware of the recent destruction in the distance. Tsunade's hair fluttered in the wind as she glanced at Shizune, who seemed distracted. Lady Tsunade, what's that? Shizune asked, squinting into the distance. Tsunade turned, sensing something unusual. Using chakra-enhanced vision, her eyes widened. That's a body, she rushed forward, her medical instincts kicking in. Oh my god. What happened to him? Shizune exclaimed, her voice tinged with panic. The man was badly injured, his clothes torn, but his body was muscular and seemed oddly resilient. Tsunade checked for a pulse. He's alive, she confirmed, and Shizune let out a relieved breath. Tsunade analyzed the man further, noting his black hair, tall stature, and extraordinary chakra reserves. An S-rank ninja, but I've never seen him before. He's not in any bingo book. Shizune, let's help him. This will be good practice for you, Tsunade said, passing the responsibility to her student. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Shizune nodded eagerly, though still flustered by the situation. As Tsunade carefully tended to his wounds, she felt something strange stir within her. When they had finished, she hoisted the man over her shoulder. Let's take him back to town and get him some rest, she decided. However, little did they know, Naruto's battle had left more than just physical scars. If they had seen the aftermath, they might have reconsidered their decision to take him in. Council chamber, the clan heads, and the 3 village elders sat in silence around the circular table, waiting for the Hokage to speak. 5 minutes had passed since the meeting began, and no one had uttered a single word. Hiruzen sat calmly, his eyes closed, puffing exaggeratedly on his pipe. After taking one last long drag from his pipe, Hiruzen leaned back in his chair and released a plume of smoke from his lungs. What I am about to say may seem outlandish, but I ask that you hear me out. We are ninjas, after all. What sounds unbelievable is often reality: giant beasts capable of wiping out entire nations, and ancient men who can defy gravity. The room felt the weight of Hiruzen's gaze, sweeping over each individual like a powerful wave washing ashore. Just get to the point, Hiruzen, Koharu finally snapped, her patience wearing thin. This isn't something I can just blurt out. It's a matter of grave importance, and I need you all to take it seriously. Hiruzen's tone was solemn, yet there was an edge of finality in his words. But if you insist, here it is. He cleared his throat, preparing them for what was to come. Naruto Uzumaki is alive. He has returned, but he is no longer the young boy we knew. He has changed. I'm sure you've all heard the rumors about a dark-haired man with horns, claiming to be the Demon King. What I'm telling you now is that those rumors are true. The room fell into stunned silence, eyes wide, jaws dropped. Even Hayashi, typically the picture of stoic calm, showed a hint of shock. What do you mean it's true? Are you saying that the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki is a demon? Tsum Inuzuka asked, her voice tinged with disbelief. Her wild, slit pupils glinted with panic. I saw it with my own eyes. He showed me everything, Hiruzen replied, his expression grave. Come on, Hiruzen. Of all people, you should know when you're under a genjutsu. The boy is messing with your mind. If you can't see that, maybe it's time for a new Hokage. Danzo's words cut through the silence like a blade, his calm demeanor betraying the sharpness of his insult. Instead of responding with anger, Hiruzen chuckled mockingly, his head thrown back in laughter. The sound was dismissive, almost mocking. Ah, Danzo, you never fail to crack a joke. You always know how to lighten the mood. Danzo's face remained impassive, but inside, his irritation flared. He refrained from showing it, keeping his composure. But this is no joke. Hiruzen's voice suddenly dropped, the warmth draining from his tone. His eyes grew cold and sharp. Naruto Uzumaki, and those who stand with him, must not be underestimated. That bodyguard of his, Curtis, is a threat. He killed my ANBU squad without a second thought. They only drew their weapons against Naruto, and that was enough to seal their fate. Are we going after him? Shikaku asked, now fully engaged, his gaze sharp. Wiping out an entire ANBU squad isn't something we can just overlook. I'd like to, but Hiruzen's voice trailed off as he shuddered. Someone like him is untouchable. He killed them before I even knew it. He showed me the memories, each one, like it was no more significant than squashing an insect. He paused, visibly disturbed. And the worst part, he serves Naruto, calling him Lord. I can't even begin to fathom how much stronger Naruto has become. The room was still, deathly quiet, as Hiruzen's words hung in the air. The fear in his voice sent a chill through the others. The Hokage, who was rarely shaken, was terrified. How could they, mere villagers, ever stand against someone like this, with the will of fire? This information must remain a secret, Hiruzen continued, his voice firm. The public cannot know that the Demon King is walking among them, but I fear it is already too late. Naruto is not hiding himself, he's walking the streets like he owns them. He let that sink in for a moment. I've decided to assign him to our ranks as a genin under Kakashi Hadake. Kakashi will monitor him and report anything out of the ordinary. Hayashi raised a hand, his expression wary. Hokage-sama, are you certain it's wise to let someone like this into our ranks? If he truly is the Demon King, why would he even bother with such a lowly position? And what's Kakashi going to do? He may be our strongest jounin, but if what you say is true, it won't matter, Inoichi added, trying to keep his voice calm, though his mind was racing. He knew his daughter Ino spent a lot of time with Sakura, who had always been close to Naruto. If Naruto was back, Ino might be caught up in whatever was to come. He couldn't allow that, not as a jounin and certainly not as a father. I understand your concerns, Hiruzen replied. But Naruto has made it clear that he wants to become Hokage. He's determined to rise to the top. The room erupted in shock. No way, no demon like him can become Hokage, Koharu shouted, her face twisted in anger. Please hear me out, Hiruzen said, his voice cutting through her outburst. If Naruto becomes Hokage, he would have access to unimaginable power. He could summon forces from hell to assist us if needed, and even bring with him multiple Nine Tails. Imagine the peace we could establish with that kind of power. Danzo's eyes gleamed with ambition. You're not seriously thinking of achieving peace with power like that, are you? The Demon King, multiple Nine Tails, and hell itself at our disposal. We could dominate the world, no one could stop us. Ruling the world is not the goal here, Danzo, Hiruzen retorted sharply. It's about making a better world. Danzo sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. Your ideals will be the village's undoing. With a final sneer, he stood and began to leave. If you can't see the opportunity for dominance before you, then the position of Hokage isn't for you. As Danzo left, the room fell into a tense silence, his words lingering like a dark cloud. This meeting is adjourned, Hiruzen declared, his voice heavy with the weight of the situation. We've entered a new chapter, one far beyond anything we could have imagined. With a flicker, he disappeared from the room, leaving the others to contemplate the dangerous future they were facing. It seems like there's someone incredibly strong, but they're losing. And badly, I must say, Kurama responded, his voice tinged with concern. Curtis was in danger, and they couldn't afford to let their friend fall. We need to act fast if we plan to reach him in time, Kurama urged, urgency in his tone. Naruto floated upwards, his eyes glowing a menacing purple. Already on it. He clasped his hands together, then swiftly pulled them apart, his right hand hovering just above the left. A dense ball of energy crackled with fire and electricity appeared in his palm. Dragonic art, Skyfall annihilation. The ball dropped silently to the ground, but moments later, a blinding flash of white erupted as it hit. Kurama, knowing all too well the devastation of that jutsu, wasted no time in fleeing the blast's path. The surrounding area, however, was not so fortunate. The sound of the explosion was deafening, rupturing eardrums and disorienting everyone nearby. The destructive force quickly consumed everything in its vicinity. The demons had no chance to react before it was too late. There's something magnificent about total destruction, Naruto said, turning his back on the carnage as he flew toward Curtis. Upon arrival, he found a landscape reduced to rubble. The already crimson soil was soaked in pools of blood from both Curtis and Asuma. Naruto's gaze hardened as he saw Asuma standing over Curtis, her foot pressed on his chest, the tip of her dark blade against his throat. This was always the inevitable result, a struggle that only delayed the inevitable. Kurama, stay back, Naruto warned the fox beside him. Kurama responded with a growl, acknowledging the order. Curtis had no words for Asuma. He simply closed his eyes, resigned to the fate ahead. His only regret was never seeing Naruto fulfill his dream. Without warning, Asuma raised her arm, and a shield of dark hexagons appeared, blocking Naruto's attempt to crush her head under his boot. Curtis, how did you let this woman do this to you? Naruto questioned, though his focus remained on Asuma as she regained her footing. Her abilities are beyond anything I could handle. She controls. Dark matter, Curtis gasped, his words trailing off as he finally passed out from his wounds. Do you possess the Stone of the Void? Asuma asked, her eyes locking on Naruto. Naruto's gaze flickered with interest. You mean this? He pulled out a stone, its dark energy swirling within. It was a gem the size of his palm, its power on par with the demon lord's. Asuma's eyes widened, her face twisted with greed. Without hesitation, she lunged toward him, attempting to snatch the stone from his grasp. Naruto easily sidestepped and dodged her blade before delivering a sharp strike to her cheek. So you want the stone? Too bad, this power is meant for my conquest of hell, Naruto declared, tucking the stone back into his coat and drawing his dragon blade. Why not join me instead? Help me claim what is mine. Asuma readied her shield and blade. No thanks, I have my own vengeance to pursue, and I don't need some child's ambition getting in the way. She sneered, mocking the dragon before her. That would be her mistake. Didn't anyone tell her? Never taunt a dragon by exposing its scales. Well then, let's see how this plays out. With flames enveloping his sword, Naruto launched a fierce attack. Asuma blocked with her shield, countering with a strike of her own. But Naruto caught her blade with his bare hand, spinning like a whirlwind before tossing her into the air. Chasing after her, Naruto unleashed wave after wave of magical slashes. But Asuma swiftly regained her footing in the air, blocking every attack until Naruto was out of sight. Radiant slash, Naruto's voice rang out, and a beam of purple light surged toward Asuma. Void cutter. Asuma slashed horizontally, her black magic beam racing to meet the attack. The two energies collided with a deafening boom. Not bad, Naruto commented, his grin widening as he launched another strike with his sword. Asuma raised her shield to form a protective barrier, and Naruto's blade bounced off, leaving him open. Seizing the opportunity, she thrust her sword forward, embedding it deep into Naruto's chest. Blood dripped from Naruto's lips as he looked at her in surprise. Asuma chuckled, driving the sword further into him. Now die, but then a hand rested on her shoulder. Playing in the dirt are you, deciding where you'll be buried? Without thinking, Asuma spun and unleashed a wave of black magic, but it passed right through Naruto's shadow clones. Petty tricks, Asuma sneered as she engaged in a deadly sword duel with Naruto. He was a skilled swordsman, landing small cuts on her, while she struggled to land any blows on him. Dark vortex. A black wind tornado erupted, slicing through Naruto's body, but the red scales beneath his clothes regenerated the damage instantly. Watch closely. The new demon lord attacks, Naruto announced, his eyes glowing as he summoned the eyes of destruction. Ancient runes appeared beneath his feet, powered by the Leviathans. He injected Jurast's energy into the spell, transforming it into something far more devastating. How? How do you know these ancient runes? Asuma stammered, her fear mounting as she took steps back. And are those the eyes of destruction? Indeed. Feel the wrath of the dragon you've awakened, Naruto's voice boomed, and with a snap of his fingers, black electricity shot from his hand toward Asuma. Barely able to react, Asuma summoned her own shield and cast her magic. Dark Twin Dragon. The two attacks collided, but Asuma's magic was obliterated as Naruto's lightning overwhelmed her, raking through her body and tearing at her very soul. Ah, your torment excites me, Naruto mused, stepping closer to the dying woman. As his spell faded, he placed his boot on her chest. So, are you ready to join me? With Asuma's defeat, Naruto turned to the next part of his journey. His voice returned to normal as he finished his tale, and that's how she came to join me. We've been together ever since. Naruto chuckled as he took a sip of his drink. It's nothing compared to how Kurama found his love, though. I still laugh every time I think about it. Maybuki and Sakura exchanged glances, unsure how to respond, but they couldn't help but be happy for Naruto. Oh, and you kids have team placement today, don't you? Maybuki remembered, giving them both a gentle nudge. That's right, Sakura quickly jumped to her feet, her excitement palpable. We have to hurry, Naruto smiled, his eyes gleaming. Well, let's go then. As they left, Naruto sensed something was off. His instincts told him he was being followed, and with a smirk, he noticed 4 masked ninjas on the rooftops. One by one, they'll fall. Looks like Hiruzen finally spilled the beans to the council, he murmured, plotting his next moves. Sakura glanced up at him. Why are you smiling like that? I'm just looking forward to embarrassing you all day, Naruto said, wrapping an arm around her with a teasing grin. Don't even think about it, Sakura warned, though she couldn't stop the smile tugging at her lips. Of course, I'm just messing with you, Naruto said, leading the way to the academy, excited for what the day would bring. As Naruto walked through the school halls, he attracted a lot of attention, particularly from the women. His appearance, combined with the aura he gave off, made it clear that he was single and not hard to approach. However, whenever they tried to approach him, they were met with a fierce glare from Sakura. The men, on the other hand, sensed the dangerous presence that Naruto radiated. It wasn't just because he had the women flocking to him. It was the fact that they knew he could easily injure someone if he wanted to. His walk, the way his chest puffed out, and his broad shoulders seemed to demand respect, was not that of an ordinary teenager. He looked like someone with the weight of years of experience, someone far more dangerous. Naruto's confidence was undeniable. He was cocky, and it was obvious to everyone around him. But unlike a pompous noble with a fake image, he was the real deal. So, Sakura-chan, what are you hoping to learn from our new sensei? He asked with a playful grin. Sakura tilted her head slightly and seemed to ponder the question for a moment. Well, I'm hoping to learn some medical ninjutsu. I'm pretty good at it already. I'd say I'm a natural. Maybe I could learn some new jutsu to improve my skills. I just want more power, the kind that could make anyone kneel before me, she responded, surprising Naruto. He hadn't expected her to say something like that. But if that's what she wanted, it was something he could offer. Well, you're starting to think like a demon, little sis, Naruto said, running his hand through her long pink hair. You haven't been hanging around any demons, have you? Sakura froze, a look of panic on her face. Was he suggesting that demons were among them in the village? Relax, I already know what you're thinking. Brother, I am sorry, she stammered. Naruto chuckled and shook his head. No, it's my fault, I shouldn't have said that. He then wrapped his arm around her shoulder, smiling faintly. But I promise you, being like me will give you everything you desire. I can make anything happen. I'll be there to support you on your journey. There's more to being a demon than just evil deeds. Sakura's thoughts were jumbled as she briefly doubted Naruto. He was her brother. He wouldn't steer her down a path he hadn't already walked himself. And he seemed okay, maybe being like him wasn't so bad. Only time would tell if she would ever take him up on his offer. Just then, they reached the classroom. Here we are, let's see what team I'll be assigned to. Wait until I tell the girls, they're going to love it, especially Albedo-chan. Naruto opened the door to reveal all the other students sitting at their desks, with Uruka waiting behind his desk. Uruka stood up quickly upon seeing Naruto, adjusting his clothes. And Naruto, right, the Hokage told me you'd be joining us today. Uruka was a rather ordinary-looking chunin, with a horizontal scar on his nose. I'm glad you and your sister could make it, he said, extending a shaky hand to Naruto. Naruto smirked as he accepted the handshake. Why so nervous? You act like you've never met a demon before. I haven't, Uruka replied, still shaken. Well, consider yourself honored. Your first encounter with a demon is with the king himself, Naruto said, releasing the handshake and glancing around the room. The other students stared at him, some with confusion, others with curiosity. He then made his way upstairs to sit next to Ino. Ino-chan, good to see you. Mind if I take a seat? He asked with a sly grin. What, you want to sit by me? Ino asked, her face flushed with surprise. Of course, if that's okay with you. Yes. Naruto pulled out the chair beside her, flashing a charming smile. Are you as excited as I am? I wonder who my sensei will be. Yeah, but I already know who my team is going to be, and it sucks, Ino said, slumping over on her desk. I'm stuck with the lazy guy and his living pillow. Troublesome girl, always running your mouth, a voice from below remarked. Shut up, Ino shot back. Must you always be so loud? Sakura asked calmly as she took her seat next to Ino. And can you always be so nonchalant? You should use that little death glare you do. That'll get him to shut up, Ino retorted with her arms crossed. I'll think about it, Sakura responded. I just hope they don't place me with Kiba. I might go rogue and kill him. Normally, Kiba would respond with a witty comeback, but for some reason, he stayed silent. Perhaps it was Naruto's presence which dared anyone to challenge him. Now that everyone's here, let's get started, Uruka called from the front of the class. First team will be. As the team assignments began, Naruto's excitement never waned. He'd learned long ago how to be patient. Team 7 under Kakashi Headache. Sakura Haruno. Kakashi, who's that again? Wasn't he a friend of Albedo? Well, I guess I'll find out soon enough, Naruto thought, crossing his arms. Sasuke Uchiha, Uruka announced, causing many of the girls in the room to groan in disappointment. Sasuke, I know this guy. Supposedly he's like my brother or something. I can already tell he's full of hate. This will be interesting. And Naruto Haruno. Many students gave Naruto puzzled looks. How did this newcomer end up on such an important team? Sakura stared at Naruto in disbelief, unable to comprehend how this happened. Naruto simply met her gaze with a confident smirk. Where there's a will, there's a way, he said, winking at her. Sakura was in shock, but at least they were on the same team. That's all that mattered to her. What? How did you get your hot brother on your team? Ino whispered wide-eyed. Ino, don't talk about my brother like that, Sakura scolded, her cheeks burning. Don't worry, Sakura-chan. I won't steal your girlfriend, Naruto teased, flashing a mischievous grin. Brother, don't say that, Sakura exclaimed, punching him lightly in the shoulder. Her face turned red, and when she looked back at Ino to apologize, she noticed the girl blushing as well and quickly turned her head away. Sakura's mind raced. Why was Ino blushing? Did she? The thought was cut off as she ducked her head, trying to hide the smile that crept onto her face. If Ino didn't like Sasuke either, maybe she had a chance with her. Naruto smiled wistfully, watching the scene unfold. Ah, young love, did I act like this too? Okay, everyone, just wait for your sensei to come and pick you up. Once again, it was an honor teaching you all, Uruka said with a bow before leaving the classroom. Elsewhere, Tsunade and Shizune flew through the sky, leaving Fire Country in search of 4 special gods. They were vital to their plan, and they needed to eliminate them to continue. That's when the sky suddenly erupted with light, and the stars above seemed to shine brighter. The clouds thickened, and a golden radiance began to spread within them. You were right, Lady Tsunade. I told you going to the Leaf Village was a bad idea. Now the angels have found us, Shizune said with a sigh of annoyance. I don't even know why I bother, you never listen to me. Stop complaining. They would have found us eventually, Tsunade replied, rolling her eyes. She looked up at the sky, curious about who would be challenging her. Suddenly, a majestic lion's roar echoed from the clouds, and a tall, imposing figure descended on golden staircases. He wore a shining white outfit, with silver gold armor plates on his shoulders, arms, and legs, while a fully grown male lion of golden light walked by his side. Oh, the king of the cats, Tsunade mocked with a taunting laugh. And a filthy reptile, the lion's voice spoke coldly. So, you've come to die a little earlier than expected, Tsunade said, rolling her neck and tossing aside her green Haori. A world of chaos is about to unfold. She began to transform, dark brown scales covering her body, growing so large they overshadowed the surrounding mountains. Now, a massive dragon with rough scales and glowing yellow eyes hovered in the sky. Tsunade's dragon form towered over the land, casting a shadow for miles. Let's finish this, Tsunade said, releasing hot steam from her nostrils. Dogda Asbadara, she launched a star-shaped fireball at Ariel, who narrowly avoided it. The blast destroyed an entire country on the border of the Land of Fire. Don't run now, Tsunade grinned. She flapped her wings, creating gusts strong enough to destroy mountains below. Ariel steadied himself, focusing on the task ahead. God believes in me, I will win. He summoned a golden lance from particles of light in his hand, lifting it high. I banish you, he declared, pointing the lance downward toward Tsunade. The clouds parted, and a golden pillar of light struck Tsunade, sending her enormous form crashing to the ground with a deafening roar of pain and fury. Ariel seized the moment, clapping his hands together to summon a million lances, which combined into one colossal weapon. Watching from a distance, Shizune remained perched on a tree, unfazed. She knew her master was simply toying around, enjoying himself. However, this attack could be dangerous if Tsunade were hit. The divine magic laced in it was noticeable even from where she sat. Tsunade opened her mouth and unleashed a roar that sent tremors through the surroundings, causing the air to vibrate with fear. A dark portal appeared before her, and she quickly dashed through, narrowly dodging the lance that struck the spot where she had just been standing. Where did she go? Ariel looked around, expanding his senses to locate Tsunade. But this was an opportunity to weaken her, so he would take it. Holy shield. A barrier materialized, enclosing the three of them in a dome. Now that you're weakened, you can't fight me at full strength, making you 10 times weaker than me. By the grace of the divine, I've won. With a flourish, Ariel twirled his lance and hurled it toward Shizune, who casually caught it with 2 fingers and sent it hurtling back at him with even greater speed. Stay sharp, Shizune said with a small, deadly grin. As the sky darkened and magical energy surged around him, Ariel looked up to see a dozen fireballs, each the size of a meteor, plummeting toward him. Zola dipped. Red chains formed from demonic magic wrapped around Ariel's body. He turned his head to see another Tsunade copy grinning at him. Time to meet your end. No, let me go, I won't die at the hands of a demon, Ariel screamed at the top of his lungs. He tried to break free, but the magic he unleashed only made the chains grow stronger. Don't worry, we'll make sure to sing about you in the legends of Tsunade. As the fireball struck, Ariel's screams were drowned out. One last time, Dogda Asbadara. To make certain of his demise, Tsunade unleashed the giant blue star one more time. It was fortunate the area was protected by the barrier, or she might have destroyed the entire planet with that blast. Once the chaos settled, there was nothing left but a massive crater and the lingering traces of their magic. Now, I need a drink after that. Instead of returning to her human form, Tsunade shrank down and flew into Shizune's arms. Let's go get wasted. Honestly, Lady Tsunade, I don't understand why Naruto-sama gave you such an important task. Asuma is a much better choice. She's strong, responsible, brave, and always stays focused. Shizune said, gazing up at her idol with admiration, next to Tsunade of course. That's when a tail swatted Shizune on the head. Remember who you're serving. I'm just as great, if not stronger, Tsunade yelled in frustration. Shizune began walking as the barrier around them faded. Yeah right, Asuma-sama is way beyond you, Shizune thought to herself. I heard that. Hey Sakura let out a loud shout from Training Ground 7. All right, get ready for the surge of your chakra. You need to control it, or you'll end up blown away, Naruto said, standing slightly off to the side with a tone full of superiority. Sakura grunted as she held what appeared to be a soccer ball, but was actually a magical artifact Naruto had given her. It was a red crystal, transparent enough to reveal the flow of energy inside. This was the channeling sphere, a tool designed to help users expand their magical reserves and improve control. The objective was to release all your energy into the sphere, then allow it to rush back into your body with triple the strength and force. This intense surge forced the chakra pathways to adapt and change in response to the increased power. Sakura wasn't having an easy time. The process was excruciating, as it involved feeling her chakra circuits stretch and expand in real time, all while maintaining a calm mind and managing the flowing energy. Naruto, however, would quickly heal her injuries with a spell and get right back into the training. Clenching her teeth, Sakura strained and yelled as the chakra disappeared back into her body. She dropped to her knees, panting, her body visibly glowing from the intense surge of chakra. Looks like it's about to blow. Sasuke jumped behind Naruto to take cover, only to be immediately shoved in front of Sakura. I'm not a shield, this is defensive training for you too. I'd strengthen my body with chakra if I were you. Sasuke cursed, following Naruto's suggestion and trying to run. However, Sakura smirked coldly at him before releasing a deafening scream, detonating her chakra in a massive explosion. The blast rocked the training ground, whipping leaves from the trees and blowing Naruto's hair into his face, but he simply grinned at the display. In just a week, you've gone from having minimal chakra reserves to matching Uchiha's, Naruto praised, a hint of pride in his voice. Ent. He cast life magic, healing Sakura's bruised body in an instant. Looks like you survived Uchiha, barely. Naruto glanced at Sasuke, whose injuries were much worse, bleeding heavily. That force must have slammed you into the ground pretty hard. Sasuke coughed up blood and turned to the side to spit more. Just heal me already, he groaned. Smirking, Naruto teased the magic word. Just fucking heal me already, Sasuke shouted, his frustration obvious. Laughing at Sasuke's flushed face, Naruto quickly cast Ent, healing him effortlessly. Sasuke rose to his feet, fully recovered as if nothing had happened. He glared at Naruto, who only looked entertained. Don't ever do that again. Are you complaining? Naruto asked, his grin widening. You've gotten stronger this week, thanks to my training. Would you rather I take that away? Sasuke grunted, crossing his arms. HMPH, he muttered, not denying Naruto's words. His gaze shifted to Sakura, who was getting back to her feet and flexing her hands. You, he growled and charged at her. Sakura said nothing, meeting his charge head-on. The two collided with punches landing on each other, their animosity clear. The best way to solve their issues. Fight it out, of course. Heavenly kick of pain. Sakura leapt into the air, her leg extended for a crushing leg drop, a move Naruto had learned from Tsunade. Sasuke dodged and immediately rushed her, landing 2 solid punches to her jaw. He aimed for her liver, but Sakura blocked and retaliated with a powerful punch that sent Sasuke stumbling backward. Sakura pressed the attack, landing several punches, most of which Sasuke blocked. However, she managed to trip him by placing a foot behind his leg, then attempted to clothesline him. Sasuke, quick to react, grabbed her head and used his knees to force her face down, then kicked her off and flipped to his feet. Uchiha Crescent, Sasuke spun, using his leg to knock Sakura away. Sakura rolled several times but quickly sprang to her feet, attempting to land an uppercut. Sasuke barely dodged, throwing a hook in return, but she ducked and countered with a spinning kick. Sasuke raised his arm to block, but the force of the kick was tremendous and he staggered back. Both fighters shared a grin, feeling the intensity of their exchange. Her blows are brutal. These moves, Naruto must have taught her. She wasn't this skilled before, Sasuke thought. She's quick and her punches are sharp, I'll need to be careful. The two fighters, despite their rivalry, began to respect each other's strength. Conflict can bring people together, no matter how it starts, Naruto observed, a smile playing on his lips as he watched the battle. Sakura rushed in again, fists ready. Sasuke blocked and struck her in the chin, then hit her stomach with another punch. He pressed the advantage, but Sakura quickly regained her footing, landing 3 sharp blows on Sasuke. The battle raged on, both trading blows and learning from each other's style. Finally, Kakashi appeared between them, stopping the fight. Why are you two fighting? Didn't I say we had a mission today? Kakashi asked with his usual eye smile, though his thoughts were clearly elsewhere. They've improved so much in just a week under Naruto's training. I'll need to keep an eye on them, especially Sakura. Being Naruto's supposed sibling, she'll likely start adopting his mannerisms. She's already showing disdain for the village, and with the Demon King by her side, who knows what could happen. They're so scared it's hilarious, Naruto thought, barely concealing his amusement. She started it, Sasuke yelled, pointing at Sakura. No, you got in my way. The two clashed heads, snarling at each other. Do you want me to leave you behind in the dirt? Sasuke taunted, drawing a kunai. Try it, Sakura retorted, mirroring his movements. All right, enough, Kakashi said, appearing between them and tapping their heads with a chakra-infused chop. Team bonding, nothing more. Naruto casually joined the conversation. We're all good here, now how about we pick up our mission? Great idea, Naruto. Let's go Team 7, Kakashi cheered. So, what mission would you all prefer today? Hiruzen asked, sifting through the available D-rank missions. We've got dog walking, fence painting, babysitting, and grocery shopping. Naruto had never taken a D-rank mission. When he was assigned to cut grass, he simply laughed and walked out. Actually, Hokage-sama, we'd like to take a C-rank mission if possible, Kakashi said, surprising the old man. What? No way, they just graduated. They're not ready for a C-rank, Uruka protested. It's true, but they've come a long way in just a week, Kakashi insisted, giving his students a proud look. The students all puffed out their chests in pride, except Naruto, who just looked disinterested. It's only a C rank. I'll be with them and we'll have the Demon King as backup. His words ring true. Even if Kakashi may be a little slow, nothing can go wrong with me on the team. As usual, Naruto exuded complete confidence. There was nothing in the world, no matter how difficult, that could harm him, even if he were slightly weakened. Must he throw shade? Kakashi muttered to himself. Uruka sighed, knowing that Naruto wasn't just some average kid. There was no telling what powers he possessed, and Uruka didn't want to start any trouble in front of the Hokage. Kakashi was a strong jounin, so if he said they were ready, Uruka would trust him. Hiruzen thought carefully. Should I really send Naruto out of the village? He might get into something dangerous without our supervision. He paused, then grabbed a C-rank mission. It's just a C-rank, nothing too risky. We'll send them on this one. As Hiruzen gave the order to bring in Tazuna, the mission was set. Got it. I'll go pack now, Sakura said, standing up and heading to her room. So, what are you watching, Mom? Sakura walked toward Ino's flower shop, nervously fiddling with the straps of her backpack. She was here to say goodbye and possibly give Ino a hug. But the thought of it made her heart race with both excitement and apprehension. It's just a hug, right? We've done this before. She steeled herself and pushed the door open. The chime above it rang as Ino jolted awake from her nap. Forehead, what are you doing here? Ino asked, rubbing the sleep from her eyes. Sakura approached the counter and grinned at her. I came to tell you goodbye. I'm going on a mission outside the village, and I might be gone for a while. What the heck? How come your team gets to go outside the village? That's not fair, Ino whined, just like she always did. Maybe if you train more you'd get a C-rank mission too, Sakura teased with a smirk, crossing her arms. Ino pouted and shot her a glare. Whoa, nice new outfit. When did you get this? Ino exclaimed, walking around the counter to get a better look at Sakura. Sakura was wearing a new maroon red kimono-style shirt that flared out at the bottom. It had white trim and her family crest on the back. Her arms were covered in long, smooth black sleeves that stopped at her ring fingers. She wore black biker shorts with thigh-high shinobi sandals that looked like long black socks. Like it. My brother made it for me. I do, I'm so jealous, I wish I had a brother like yours. He really is amazing, Sakura smiled, thinking of Naruto. He'd done so much in just a week, and she felt indebted to him. But I really need to get going, Ino. Sakura said, her smile fading slightly. I'll see you when I get back. She leaned forward and gave Ino a tight hug, tucking her head into Ino's soft blonde hair. I'll miss you. Ino instinctively hugged her back and raised an eyebrow. You're acting weird for just saying goodbye. Is there something you want to tell me, Sakura-chan? Ino teased, her voice playful. Shut up. I'll be back in a week or so. Sakura snapped as she pulled away from the hug and left the shop, smiling to herself. Team 7 and Tazuna were walking down a dirt path outside the village, heading toward the wave country. It had only been a few minutes since they left the village, and trouble was already looming. Kakashi noticed 2 small puddles of water at the side of the road. He glanced at his team, but none of them seemed to notice. Perhaps Naruto had, but he was pretending not to. I'm curious to see how they handle this, Naruto said, eager to see if Sasuke or Sakura would step up. He had confidence in them. As expected, the 2 rogue ninjas jumped out from the puddles, their chained gauntlets dripping as they aimed to slice Kakashi into pieces. They wrapped him up, pulling with all their strength, and Kakashi was torn apart into a bloody mess. One down. Let's make it 2. The 2 rogue ninjas rushed toward Naruto. They wore scratched-out headbands from the Mist Village. Their chains swung toward him, but before it could strike, a shuriken pinned it to a nearby tree. Sakura dropped from above and kicked both men in the face with a split kick, showing off her flexibility. Her emerald eyes burned with focus, like she was looking at something far beyond her opponents. The ninjas quickly recovered and released their chains. You're going to regret that, brat, one of them yelled, charging at Sakura with incredible speed. His partner followed suit, trying to confuse her with their zigzagging movement. They're slow. Is this really what ninjas are like? Sakura scoffed, unimpressed. Brothers' training was really effective. No wonder demons make the best warriors. Sakura easily dodged a swipe, spun, and kicked both men in the face. With lightning speed, she landed a series of punches, chakra-infused, on the one on the left. He fell unconscious after a few strikes, clutching his chest in vain. Gazu, you're dead, the remaining ninja shouted. Was that his name? What a pathetic end, Sakura said mockingly as she stood over her fallen opponent. The remaining rogue ninja, enraged, lunged at her with a twisted grin, clawing at her chest. Got you now, he sneered, pulling his hand out as blood began to pour. But Sakura's form vanished in a puff of smoke, replaced by a log. Substitution jutsu. Before the ninja could react, claws dug into his back and he screamed in pain. Sakura stood behind him, grinning with her poisoned gauntlet, the claws still lodged in his body. That's enough, Kakashi's voice interrupted. She's strong, but that dark side of her, she enjoys hurting them. It must be Naruto's influence. Sasuke stared, stunned by Sakura's raw power. He had trained with her, but seeing her fight was a different experience. He was impressed but also felt uneasy. If Naruto had this much power, he needed to take him more seriously. With strength like that, Itachi wouldn't stand a chance. That was amazing, Sakura-chan. Your martial arts are top-notch, Naruto said, messing with her pink hair. Sakura glared at him through the messy bangs. What's with that smirk? You just gave me a compliment and I'm supposed to be thankful, Naruto laughed. Come on, Sakura, that's how you show gratitude. You could at least try to sound a little sincere. Sakura punched Naruto in the stomach, but it barely fazed him. Owa, she winced, retracting her hand. Naruto just laughed harder, enjoying her irritation. I'll leave these two here for the village to take care of, Kakashi said, addressing the group. But in the meantime, his voice became serious. Why were they so focused on you, Tazuna? Tazuna stepped back, raising his hands defensively. I don't know, maybe they just thought I was a handsome old man. Stop fooling around. Naruto suddenly grabbed Tazuna's head, closing his eyes. Evi, he muttered, using his spell to probe Tazuna's memories. The scene in Tazuna's mind unfolded. The wave country was under the grip of Gato, and Tazuna was building the bridge to connect them to the mainland, hoping to break free from Gato's oppressive rule. Gato had sent mercenaries to kill him, but Tazuna had fought back and barely survived. So, this old man is trying to save his village by building a bridge, but Gato wants him dead because of it, Naruto summarized, turning to his team. Let's go pay Gato a visit, he owes me something. Thank you, Naruto-san, Tazuna called out, his voice full of gratitude. Don't get too excited, Naruto said with a grin. I'm not doing this for you. Gato just happens to have something I want. Sakura raised an eyebrow, clearly curious. Did he sell you his soul, brother? Indeed, Naruto replied, his smile growing sharper. And I think it's time I went to collect. Before they could leave, Kakashi called out to them. Wait, you're not prepared for this. These were just Chunin. The next enemy will likely be a Jounin. Naruto turned and fixed Kakashi with a cold, crimson-eyed gaze. Silence, he commanded, and Kakashi immediately fell silent, unable to speak. I'm not just a shinobi. I'm not bound by those rules. You can't even begin to imagine what I'm capable of. With that, Naruto turned and began walking, with his team following. Kakashi stood frozen, realizing just how dangerous Naruto was. He's a true threat. And those jutsu, like the Yamanaka but more terrifying, he can control us with just his words. As the group continued their journey, Naruto and Sakura conversed, while Sasuke and Sakura bickered, the usual playful dynamic between them. They boarded a boat and crossed the misty river, and the fog grew thicker with every minute. Naruto, unaffected by the mist, used magic to enhance his vision. A strange feeling washed over him, and he soon detected someone watching them, 2 people to be exact. This time he decided to take charge. You all stay down, Kakashi shouted, tackling Tazuna to the ground as the mist thickened. Naruto remained standing, unbothered. The sound of something rushing toward him caught his attention. He saw a massive sword aimed straight at him, cutting through the mist with deadly intent. But as it reached him, it bent harmlessly upon contact with his thick skin. I don't know, maybe throw it a bit harder next time. Naruto grabbed the sword, which was carved toward the middle. A man with dark skin and sharp brown eyes appeared through the trees. That's some body you have, kid. Never thought my sword would bend like that. He stood bare-chested, with 2 brown straps crossing his shoulders. I'll repair it with your blood. Is that so? Naruto slid the metal back into place and smirked. Here, take this scrap of junk. He tossed the sword up to the ninja with bandages wrapped around his mouth. You'll regret that, brat. Am I? The man used a hand seal, and the mist thickened, concealing the figure with cow-printed straps. He was after a group of genin and the bounty on Kakashi's head. Say Zabuza, I hear you're known as the master of silent killing. Is that true? Naruto casually asked, following the shifting shadows through the fog. Zabuza didn't respond as Naruto saw him split into two with a water jutsu, letting the copy sneak up on him and his team. The mist lifted slightly, revealing Zabuza poised to strike, ready to end them with the slightest flick of his wrist. For good reason. Before Kakashi could move to protect his team, Naruto had already driven his hand through the clone's chest. I hear you're also called the Demon of the Mist. But you're no demon, just a fake. Naruto ripped the water clone apart with a grin, using his left hand. Naruto bent the air around him, dissipating the mist. But I can change that, I like you. His eyes locked onto the narrow-eyed man. You're a monster. You killed a fresh team of genin as a kid and you weren't even a genin yourself. You loved it, didn't you? The pleasure of snuffing out a life, watching the hopelessness in their eyes. This kid's crazy, but so am I, Zabuza grinned beneath his bandages. I did, it felt so good. Their parents looked at me in terror, like I was going to kill them too. My hands are stained with blood. What can a brat like you do to me? Zabuza's bloodlust seeped into the air, turning the mist a bloody hue. You'll do nicely. Join my faith and serve the demon king of tyranny. Naruto Leviathan. Naruto's own bloodlust overpowered Zabuza's, transforming the area into a hellish landscape. The wildlife twisted grotesquely as Naruto's magic poured into the atmosphere. When he saw Sakura's bloodshot, trembling eyes, he halted. Naruto healed her with a green magic spell, the formula glowing beneath her. Sorry, Sakura-chan. He spoke to her telepathically and she nodded, forgiving him though still shaken. It's okay, I forgive you, just don't do that again, I was terrified. Promise. I'll teach you a new jutsu to make up for it. Cool, and you have to teach me how to do what you just did. Naruto smiled wryly. Sakura had certainly changed. The girl had grown colder, more hardened. It seemed she'd eventually want to become something like a demon herself. This mission would prove his point. Now, Zabuza, come and fight. Zabuza rushed in, swinging his enormous blade, but Naruto dodged and landed a punch straight to his face. Zabuza grunted and swiped upward, missing again as Naruto landed multiple hits. Damn, what are your hands made of? Zabuza gritted his teeth. With swift movements, he swung his massive blade, but Naruto's punches hit with precision every time. It seems I'm too much for you, Naruto mocked. I'll hold back, no more physical attacks. Are you insane? That's a jounin, it's bad enough you're fighting him alone. Kakashi called, taking a step forward but froze when Naruto turned to him. Don't worry, fool, I'm more than enough for this circus. While Naruto faced Kakashi, Zabuza pulsed his chakra, sending a signal only someone connected to it could understand. Water style, water torrent jutsu. Massive waves surged from the lake behind Zabuza, toppling trees and flooding the area. Kakashi quickly performed a shadow clone jutsu, using his clones to grab Sakura and Sasuke and leap into the trees above. Naruto jumped, glancing below at Zabuza, who was weaving another set of seals. Water style, water dragon missile. I can read your every move. Naruto snapped his fingers, sending out a blast of sound that dispersed the water dragon. You can fly, just like that old man. Zabuza shouted, looking up at the smirking Naruto. There's nothing I can't do, you'd be wise to remember that, Naruto replied. Just then, something caught his attention from behind. A light blue ice mirror appeared, and from it rushed a hunter ninja dressed in dark clothing and a white mist ANBU mask. The figure moved at an untraceable speed, forming ice needles aimed at Naruto's neck. But before they could strike, Naruto sidestepped, the motion sending a gust of wind that knocked them back. Had they hit the ground at that speed, they would have splattered. But another mirror formed, and the person fell into it. They emerged next to Zabuza. Haku, what happened? Zabuza growled in irritation. I couldn't hit him. He's so fast that the wind from his sidestep knocked me down, Haku explained, sounding like a soft-spoken boy. That's impossible, you're too fast for something like that. But it happened, you saw it, we need a plan or we're both dead. Done scheming? Naruto asked, his voice taunting. Why don't you come down here and find out? If you insist. Naruto crossed his arms and straightened up, then manipulated gravity to pull himself down like a meteor. The ground exploded beneath his landing. That didn't kill you, did it? Beneath the rubble, Zabuza pushed aside the dome of ice. You're too weak to kill me, he charged with murderous intent in his eyes. Ha ha ha, you amuse me, what great bloodlust you have. You'll make a great demon. Naruto dodged Zabuza's attacks effortlessly, predicting his every move. Ice-style, ice rain storm. Chunks of ice fell from the sky to crush Naruto. Naruto looked up, seeing the ice blocking out the sky. With a clap of his hands, he sent a shockwave that shattered the ice. "Brother, behind you," Sakura called from Kakashi's arms as he forced her to stay out of the fight. "Don't worry, I see him." Naruto vibrated his body, allowing Zabuza to phase right through him. Using incredible speed, Naruto and every cell in his body vibrated at different frequencies to slip through Zabuza's attacks. Before Naruto could unleash his next strike, Haku burst from the ground beneath him, wielding a senbon aimed at stabbing Naruto in the neck. Naruto let out an amused laugh, amplified by his magic, sending both ninjas flying. "It's better you don't make me laugh, or I'll kill you just from the sheer amusement." "Zabuza-sama, we should retreat," the masked ninja suggested. "We can't defeat this guy. He hasn't even used a physical attack, yet he's still able to both defend and strike." "No, Haku, this bastard is going to pay for mocking me," Zabuza growled, determined to continue fighting. "Forgive me, master," Haku said solemnly before driving 2 needles into Zabuza's neck. He cast a glance at Naruto, who was casually standing to the side. "We'll settle this, next time." "I'll allow it." "You can escape," Naruto said indifferently. Naruto observed as the ninja used one-handed seals and retreated into an ice mirror. "That guy could defeat all of you without much effort. Just using one-handed seals alone is impressive. Zabuza also could have given you a lot of trouble, Kakashi, and if you're not careful, he might have even defeated you." "And how do you know that?" Kakashi asked, jumping down to Naruto's level. "I can read their power during the fight, and honestly, if I weren't here, you guys would be in serious trouble." "Then what should we do?" "Run away," Sasuke asked, his arms crossed, his eyes as empty as a starless night sky. Naruto placed his hand on Sasuke's head and rubbed it lightly. "We're going to get stronger, of course. You're going to learn water walking and a new jutsu." "One problem with that," Kakashi interjected, raising his hand. "I didn't teach them tree climbing, so moving straight to water walking might be too much. While you were always late, we used that time to practice tree walking over the past week." Sakura's voice was laced with frustration, her death glare aimed at Kakashi. "I see," Kakashi grinned with his usual ice smile. "Great use of time." "Well done." Naruto's head whipped toward the west, his magic enhancing his vision. What he saw made his blood run cold. It was a demon. The creature was charging toward them at incredible speed, and within moments it would be upon them. "Listen up. There's a powerful D." Naruto's warning was cut short as a massive, dark gray hand pierced through his chest. "No," Sakura screamed in horror as she witnessed the gruesome sight. Kakashi, Tazuna, and Sasuke shared the same expression of shock, unable to comprehend what they were seeing. The monster let out a low, menacing growl, revealing rows of jagged, sharp teeth. Its face lacked human features, covered by a thick layer of skin that extended into massive, scythe-like horns. In the center of its head was a diamond-shaped hole, glowing red with a single black pupil floating within. Its body, rough-skinned and grotesque, exuded a tremendous amount of magical energy. The group staggered back, overwhelmed by the sheer size and power of the beast. Tazuna collapsed in fear, unconscious. "Nobody move hastily," Kakashi warned, struggling to maintain control. He had to protect his team, at least Sakura and Sasuke. "You're stronger than I thought. You managed to crush my heart," Naruto coughed, blood dripping from his lips as he still smiled at the demon. With a swift motion, he severed the creature's arm with his hand and kicked it away with force. Gripping the dismembered limb, he hurled it back at the demon, lodging it into its chest. "Did you think crushing my heart would kill me?" Naruto's body quickly regenerated. "Naruto, you're okay," Sakura whispered, her voice trembling with relief and tears. "Stay back. This won't take long." Naruto summoned a magical barrier around them before stepping forward to face the demon. His clothes were torn, stained with blood, but it didn't faze him. He marched on. The demon rose, yanking its arm out of its chest and devouring it. The sound of snapping bones echoed, and blood sprayed across its face as it grinned. To their horror, the arm regenerated. The demon's right hand ignited with swirling black flames, and a magic circle formed on its arm. It unleashed a destructive blast toward Naruto. Black particles gathered around Naruto's hand as he retaliated with his own attack. Kurike, the clash of dark energies obliterated the landscape, reducing the surrounding forest to a barren wasteland. Kakashi and the others watched in awe, their jaws dropping. Impossible. All of this from just one attack. They were only alive thanks to Naruto's barrier. A deafening explosion rang out as Naruto's fist collided with the demon's, his hands enveloped in swirling black energy. However, the demon possessed remarkable flame control, and Naruto's left arm was scorched, the skin peeling away from the intense heat. The damage was inconsequential, and Naruto grinned through the pain, eyeing the beast with defiance. "You're mindless and not from hell, so where did you come from?" He landed a solid punch to its chin, snapping its head back. He spun, delivering a powerful kick to its stomach. The demon rolled, slamming into the ground, but Naruto was relentless. He bombarded the creature with a barrage of punches. "You're strong, stronger than any demon I've encountered," Naruto continued as he struck. "Your body is pure magic. You were born from pure dark energy." Naruto dodged as the demon unleashed a wave of flames that turned the ground into molten lava. "Now I see. You were created from my magic just recently. That's why you're so strong." With incredible speed, Naruto dove forward, his hand plunging through the demon's chest. "But still weak. Bow to your king." In a dazzling display of power, Naruto summoned Geograze. 6 massive orbs of energy formed and shot toward the demon, engulfing it in searing flames and reducing it to ashes. A tiny ball of burning magic floated from the corpse, and Naruto pulled it toward him, absorbing it into his mouth. This demon was born from his magic, which meant its strength could fuel him. If demons can emerge from magic alone, create their own consciousness, and develop their power, this could cause chaos, Naruto mused, his eyes gleaming with malevolent intent. "They won't recognize me as their king, but their sources will. They'll hesitate to act." A wicked grin spread across his face. "I'll have fun with this. How about I challenge myself, my title, as Demon King?" As the thought of a throne to be contested filled his mind, Naruto felt a surge of excitement. His rule would remain unchallenged, and the demon world would be his forever. Spreading his magic across the planet, he held the world in his grasp. Demons began appearing everywhere, giant sea creatures, winged beasts, humanoid horrors. The world was cloaked in darkness, and Naruto's influence spread like wildfire. Demon slayers rushed from the heavens, descending to halt the evil spreading across the land. "Naruto, what did you just do?" Kakashi shouted. "Spread my influence," Naruto answered unfazed. "Can we just get on with the mission now?" "I need to take a moment to process all this," Sasuke grumbled, exhaling deeply. This was insane, and it was supposed to be a C-rank mission.